Yeah, you know how to.
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't. What's up? Sunday. When we're here live playing D&D. Once again. G'day, peoples. So, obviously last week we left off in the middle of a combat. Why are we on cursive guard? Damn it. Automatically changed. That's not matter. Not manners. Here we go. So we're actually on the right scene now. DM. So last Sunday night we finished midway through, or partway through a combat because things happened that would have dragged it on for quite some time. So we decided to finish at the point where X was rendered unconscious, unfortunately. So we were starting about there tonight. Obviously Wednesday night went very, very well with Curse of Strahd. Baz's character, unfortunately, Karnos, was killed and consequently revived in the Amber Temple in the first encounter in the Amber Temple. So that was an interesting session, to say the least. Looking forward to the continuance of that. So tomorrow night I will be streaming once again. We're going to be doing some more New World stuff. Got a number of people in the company now. Emerald Sanctum is the company name, which Yanti came up with on her stream. It's sort of a collective thing. And most of us are playing. If you want to come hang out, we're on the AP region on the Crescent server. Details are in the Discord. We have in my channel, Discord, we have an Emerald Sanctum Discord channel. When you're playing, you want to hang out and chat with each other, jump in there. It's open to everyone. And I'm really enjoying it. It's for an MMO, which for me, most of you know that I was a big WoW player for a long time. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it, obviously because you can't help but compare it to games you've already played, but I'm really, really enjoying it as much as I did when I played WoW, so it's pretty cool. So, without any further ado, however, we shall jump into tonight's recap and get back into the session from last week. So, obviously, last we left off, after a night of rest in this strange ruin, you'd all come together in the storeroom, apologies given, arrangements made, and seems a leader has been selected. Moriel with a luck from Yanti. Mark that down. You continued your exploration of the ruins, which led you further into the dark and dampness of this place, and into a torture room of sorts, where you found yourselves once again confronted with the necromantic creations of this place. Skeletal creatures hung from makeshift gallows, an iron maiden on a torture rack, and one of those a giant creature with an icy type stare which causes paralysis. Eventually come out on top of the battle with Hex casting dissonant whispers, causing psychic forces within this creature's head to explode it all over the place. A short rest was then taken, enabling you all to gain some rest and gain some fortification back. You press on, eventually finding a kitchen empty, old food, a fireplace, a cage of sorts where maybe animals or humans had been kept. Weren't entirely sure. After a bit of discussion, Captain Moore headed out to the hallway where he spotted a patrol heading in your direction. An illusory spell was cast to hide yourselves within the kitchen with the doors remaining. You let them pass and they disappeared and sounded like they went into another room. A bit more discussion backwards and forwards, and it was decided that Hex was going to disguise herself as a cultist and attempted to negotiate with one cultist, eventually charming that cultist, but another that was not seen initially joined the conversation and seemed to gather that this was not entirely legit, casting a whole person on Hexkara, forcing her to become incapacitated, standing, not being able to do a whole lot. The battle once again began. After a bit of back and forth, a couple of dog-like creatures joining the battle, they were able to breathe fire. Captain Moore taking damage for Elba, and Steve doing some acrobatic type stuff as an elephant was carried forward. But as the cult fanatic slid in to attack Hexkara, who was still incapacitated, rendering her unconscious, her lifeless body hitting the floor. And this is where we pick up the combat as Elba. It is your turn in the combat session. Let's get some Musak running here and battle music.
Will I be able to get through the captain and don't know who that is to use my wacky thing?
Your wacky thing, your maul. You'd be able to
have enough room to
you'd be able to sort of. I'd say you'd be able to squeeze through. I mean, you can jockey around each other. This corridor is like 10 or 12 feet wide. I mean, you guys don't take up a 5-foot square. So just because the token suggests that you can't make it through, you can stand shoulder to shoulder. It would be a bit of a square. I mean, you'd be able to do it. Swinging weapons, you might have to be a little careful. But don't move your token. We'll just say that you're going to move forward. Okay. Just ping the map on who you wish to attack. Is it the dog-like creature?
Yeah, the dog-like creature.
This one here?
That one. Yep.
Cool.
I'll just try to smash it straight in the head. 14.
On the hound, that misses.
Okay.
You got two attacks in your attack action.
Yeah,
so your first attack, you swing, the dog sort of dodges, and you smash the concrete below its feet.
Dirty 20s.
Second hits.
9 damage.
9 points of the bludgeoning damage as Elba raises his maul. First one striking the concrete beside, second one swinging back and smashing it in the shoulder.
Oh, in my turn there.
That is your turn. Bernassus, you're up with Moriel on board. So Bernassus, you're right next to Hex. Does Hex, do your disguise would change or not?
Other than my cloak, I would go back to my natural form.
Because once you're unconscious, you revert back to your
Correct.
natural form.
I
Yeah.
revert to my natural form. Yep.
So yeah, so you would see Hex drop to the floor unconscious.
So Bernassus is looking underneath him where the cultist is and looking at Hex, and he's like just trying to decide whether he's going to attack or help Hex, and he floats down and he touches Hex with the cure wounds.
Okay,
Thank you.
roll a cure wounds.
Just while he's rolling that, as a point of note, anyone looking at Hex on the floor does not look like the white-faced Hex you would see normally. She looks like a normal woman with brown hair, sort of like a 50s pin-up girl hair tie-up. In red spandex.
10 healing for Hexakara.
Thank you very much.
And I'll just colour that line green so we know it's acid.
Yep, and now I'd be on the floor.
You're on the ground. That was your action, I believe.
Yep, and I don't have a bonus action I can use right now, so that'll be me.
No problem. So that is you. Moriel, you're on board. Hexakara, you get the heal. And
I'm still laying
you're
down
still
there.
prone, but you are now conscious.
Alright.
You're
Moriel.
on board, Hex.
So it's Hex go, right?
No, yours. Hex,
Okay,
Hex
sorry.
is on board.
Gotcha. My bad. I would like to twin spell inflict wounds on the 2 wolves.
Sure.
And I will also quicken spell Toll of the Dead so I can use that as my bonus action.
Are you able to use twin spell and quicken spell together?
From my understanding with sorcerer, there's no limitation on whether you can do that or not.
It normally states whether it's a bonus action to use them. Just double check for me. If it doesn't...
Meta magic is no action.
Okay, I'll allow
So
it then.
both are no action.
Go for it.
Yeah, that's true. They are.
I wasn't sure. I
No, that's
Oh,
okay.
neither was
One-
I. Was checking.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure it was whether it said specifically. But it doesn't say specifically, so twin spell and quicken spell. So the quicken spell makes an action a bonus
Turns-
action.
Correct. So
And 2
inflict
targets.
wounds is going to be a spell, and the Toll of the Dead is going to be a cantrip as a bonus action.
Cool. Not a problem.
So inflict wounds is going to be at the 3rd level.
Cool.
10 to hit.
That will miss.
I'm going to use a luck to re-roll.
Use a luck reroll. Luck reroll.
21 to hit for
That
the
hits.
first. And 20 to hit for the second.
They both hit.
Okay.
Roll your damage.
The first one will take 20 points of necrotic damage.
And the second.
Second will take 29 points of necrotic damage.
As the skeletal hands reach up from beneath the cobblestones and just crush the life out of the 2 hellhounds. A yelp of pain as they both fall to the floor, dead.
Perfect.
Nice.
Yeah, let me see if I was just going to use the Toll of the Dead as a backup, but it's still 60 foot.
You can still use it. You've quickened the spell, so you've still got the ability.
So what I will do
Hang on.
is...
Is inflict wounds a cantrip or a...
No, that inflict wounds is the spell. Toll of the Dead is a cantrip.
Told it's cantrip. Awesome.
Yep.
Wanted to make sure.
So what I will do is cast my Toll of the Dead on that creature there.
No problem.
And because of my Reaper feature, allows me to hit a second target within about 5 foot of the first.
Second target's 10 feet away, so you'll miss him.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh, it is
5 foot square between them, so it'd be 10 feet.
Yep. Okay. Fair call. So I'll do it on this one here then instead.
Okay, no drama.
That's a Wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom say. Double check, make sure he's not. Doesn't get any advantages. Don't think he does. Wisdom say. 16.
That will succeed, so nothing happens.
So no damage.
And
Right.
that will end my turn.
That'll end your turn, no problem. Hex, you're up. Captain Moore, you're on board.
Hex, still looking like a normal person, stands up. She looks to Benassis and says, "Thank you." And then she says, me, and casts mirror image on herself. There are now 3 duplicates of Hex, phasing in and out around her.
Worries.
She will then move her remainder of movement. I cannot move.
Yes, you can.
Her 15, 15. Oh, is that a bad dude at the wall?
That is there, yes.
Okay, so Hex will move this way. 5, 10, 15. No, she won't. It still puts her. He's within melee range, right? That red dude.
Yes, he is. He will get an attack opportunity if you move. Hex will use her bonus action to take one of her potions if she can. Go for it. And that would be it for her, because moving does not benefit her at this point. Is it for her? So with that, it is this dude's turn. Moves forward into you, Steve. And he will attack you with an 18. Which I believe does hit. You take 5 points of slashing damage from that cultist there. Next up is this cultist, someone you can't see. Makes him move. Captain Moore, it is now your turn.
Okay, so the captain will walk 5'10" to that dude. He is going to bonus action, draw in a breath, bolster himself with second wind.
Second wind.
1d10 plus 5, so I rolls it to d10, and then he's going to make 2 attacks, take the attack action, so alright, 4, so 9 health. Fantastic. And then he's going to make 2 attacks on this dude right here.
Go for it.
He's going to spend 1 superiority die to try and disarm said cultist member.
Is the spending of the superiority die a bonus action? Double check for me.
It does not say.
Does not say. I'll allow it.
Oh, it says 1 action. Superiority die.
Usually are.
Yeah, it's usually an action or a bonus action.
Usually as part of the action, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's part of the action, you can do it because you're making the attack action. So.
Testish. Okay.
So roll 2 hits.
So add to the damage, and the dude's got to make a strength throw as well if I do manage to hit him.
No problem. Roll to hit first.
The first one's a 20.
That'll hit.
And second one is a 17.
That'll also hit. So strength check for the 4, so he fails the strength save.
Fantastic. He's gonna. Captain's
Do
gonna
your
try
damage
and.
first.
So first one is a 9. First hit. Second one is a 5. Then I got to add a D8 because it's superiority die. Total of 16 points of damage. God damn, my maths is terrible.
It's all good. He's looking a little bloody, but he's still there.
Gonna try and hammer down on him, and I don't know what weapon he's got, but just
So
fling it to the
what was your superiority die, just to add extra damage?
And he's got to do the strength saving throw.
Which he
So on the
failed.
disarming attack, I can add the extra damage from the superiority die,
Yeah, which
and
he
he's got to
failed.
make a strength saving throw.
Yeah, he failed the strength save. What happens if he fails the strength save?
He's disarmed. His weapon goes flying.
So he has 2, but one of his daggers goes flying out of his hand. Hits the ground.
Cool.
You've seen him cast spells. He doesn't seem to need them, but that is
well.
it. Next up is this guy. He is going to stay where he is. Do nothing at this point. In fact, he's going to back into this room. And he's going to call out, don't get caught in the corridor! Back into a bigger room! Next up is a dude you cannot see. Might be a few. This guy here, heeding the warning, moves there and then moves out of your view. That one to there. I'm just moving a few guys that you guys can't see at the moment. Steve, it's now your turn.
Alright, so what's the... And just need to move on one.
So, yeah. Did you get your damage before?
Yeah, I did.
Yep. Cool.
So from that guy that's not right next to me, that one there.
Yep.
I didn't know that camera. Is he far enough for a range attack, or?
He would be, but he's fairly well surrounded at this point by your companions. So to make a shot through your friends, it would be a little difficult.
Alright.
Especially in this narrow corridor.
Go for the guy on the doorway then.
No problem.
And I'll just go with the daggers.
Yeah, he stabbed you in the back, so he's probably your main concern.
Alright. First one is 20 to hit.
It hits.
And that's 6 points of damage.
6 points of damage. We'll get sneak attack as you have Hicks standing right next to you.
Do I get sneak attack? Do I?
You do.
Even though I'm right in front of him and he's attacking me.
Because you have an ally within 5 feet, you always get sneak attack.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So you just don't get the advantage because he can see you, but because you have an ally there, you get the opportunity to add the extra damage.
Oh, nice. Okay. So 6 from the dagger and 11 from the sneak attack.
Which is enough. You thrust your dagger into his belly and look into his eyes, run the dagger across his belly, disemboweling him, killing him instantly.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess.
You can see you've got another dude down the end of the corridor here. I don't know if you can see this guy here, possibly.
Yeah, I'll move to there.
Move to there, no worries. So it gives you a bit of line of sight into the room.
And I'll call out saying, there's quite a few more around the corner.
No worries, that is your turn. It's now this guy's turn with Elba to follow. He grins and see him as his bonus action. He is going to cast Spiritual Weapon right behind you, Hex. And from memory, what is the roll to hit on that? It's the same as his roll to hit. I'm just going to use his dagger to roll to hit as normal. It's a 22 to hit.
That would hit, but
And
I have my duplicates up.
so what?
So I roll a dice.
You roll a dice, see if he hits.
duplicate.
Yep.
I have to roll over 6. 17, so he hits one of my duplicates.
So one of your duplicates disappears. You now have 2.
Does indeed.
It's fine. That's his bonus action. As his action, he is going to cast Shield of Faith on himself. So you see a shimmering field appear surrounding him, which has boosted his AC by 2. For the remainder till he's concentrating, so his AC has been boosted. Elba, is your turn. Benasis on board.
I'm going to move up to the guy around the corner. I don't know if I want me to actually move or not, and I was going to batter him.
Just leave your token with us for now. We could say you guys are surrounding him. I'll give you advantage on the attack, as you guys pretty much have him just about fully surrounded. I mean, you could even, if you wanted to, move around to here and move around your friends and get to there, which would give you a position of flanking anyway.
Yeah, I can do that. If you want me to move, or
I'll move you there.
okay.
Make it a bit easier. Here we go. So you guys have this guy surrounded. Advantage on the attack. Elba. Dirty 20 hits.
For 10 damage.
10 damage. He's not looking good.
And
Roll
I'll
your
do it
second
again.
attack.
I do go advantage, or
Yep, still advantage. Doesn't matter, still
what?
hits. Still hits anyway.
yeah,
Roll your damage.
13.
As you crush the skull from behind of this cultist, rendering him no longer living. Slumps to the ground.
Oh, was that my turn then?
That was, and his spiritual weapon also vanishes. Venasis, you're up.
So Benasis will ask Hex to excuse him as he goes over the other side of her. Excuse me, sorry. Oh.
Be my guest.
And then he is going to cast some firebolts down the hall at the one at the end of the hallway. This one.
No worries.
17.
That hits.
I'll roll the second one too. And 25.
You get 2 firebolts? How do you get 2?
It's an attack action and I get 2 attacks per action. It's a cantrip.
You only get 1 spell per action. You don't get 2. It's 2 melee attacks or 1 spell as an action.
They're cantrips. And they're
Still-
my actions.
Yeah, it's still an action. You can't cast it twice as an action. It's a spell. A spell can only be cast once.
Oh, I thought I could do any of the attacks that are in my attack list twice. Oh.
Not as far as I know. Clarified for me, Baz. I'm pretty sure as a spell, it takes your whole action.
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
Spells are different to melee. So if you have attack actions because of your melee class, my understanding is you get them. But if the actions are spells, they work under the spell rules, which is 1 cantrip and 1 main spell as long as one's a bonus action.
Okay.
So
So-
apologies if that's not how you understood it.
No,
So your first one will definitely hit
Alright.
either way. So roll your
I'll hit with
damage.
something else.
Cool.
Woo. 14 damage.
14 fire damage. No problem.
Use the infiltrator launcher for the second attack, which is a shorter range, so I'll
Now,
see if it hits.
This is what we're meaning, Grim, is even though you have 2 attacks in the action, if you're using a spell, it takes up your entire action.
Even if it's a cantrip.
Even
Okay.
if it's a cantrip.
No worries.
Yeah, because it costs you an action to cast a spell, which is the entirety of the action.
Alright. No worries, well, leave it there then.
No worries. Next up is this dude, which you cannot see at this point. Muriel, you're up. Hex on board.
Okay. I will move up just here. What I'm going to do is, as my bonus action, I'm going to use 1 spell slot to recover 2 sorcery points.
So 2 sorcery points to recover a spell slot. I get
Yes. No, I'm using 1 of my spell slots to recover 2 sorcery points.
Ah, I see.
Yep. I'm then going to twin spell, level 1 cure wounds on Hex and
Well done.
and the captain, which I believe he was fairly damaged from previous.
He was indeed. Roll your heal.
Alright. So I'll tick both of those off just to make sure. Level 1 cure wounds, both will get 8 points of healing damage.
No problem. Mark that down.
And as I've used my bonus action and my movement, that is all I will do for now.
No problem. Hix, your turn. Captain Moore on board.
Hix will thank Muriel as well. And she will say, "Do we have a plan, Captain?" Or probably more to Muriel. "Do we have a plan, sir?" And with that, she will await his answer when it comes time. She will move down here and await instruction. So I'm holding my action until... Actually, I can see someone. I didn't think I could. There's a dude here, is it?
Yes.
I can see through that doorway.
Certainly can.
Excellent. And instead of holding my action, I will firebolt him. She points Fuzzy at that man down the corridor as she's awaiting Muriel's instruction and says, "Fuzzy, firebolt." With a 16 to hit,
That hits.
doing 4 fire damage.
4 fire damage. He is looking a little singed around the edges. He is not looking healthy.
And Hix will use the rest of her movement to back out by Alba. That is me, thank you.
You. So, we're going to have this guy move up here. He is going to shoot at you, Steve. With a 15 to hit. I believe does hit? 2 piercing damage.
I've got 15, so
Yeah, that'll hit.
that hits. Okay, sweet.
So that will, well, 2 piercing damage as a crossbow bolt strikes you in the upper shoulder. And that is pretty much its turn. Captain Moore.
The captain is... can't really do much with his movement. So he's going to go to here. Stand next to Hex. Is this door open, by chance?
Yes, both doors are open.
He is... he's going to leave it open, but he's also going to be at the ready and hold his action. He's probably going to... I'll just say, "Steve, get back! Come out!" And that's it. And I will hold my action until further instruction.
No problem. This guy's going to retreat down here. We've got a guy down here that Steve can probably see. Once again, Steve, you are the target of a heavy crossbow. 30-20 to hit. 11 points of piercing damage. Another heavy crossbow bolt strikes you in the stomach. And that will be his turn. This one is also going to make crossbow attack, missing with a 10. This dude, I believe, has line of sight on you as well. 17 to hit. Another 5 points of piercing damage as another crossbow bolt comes flying in your way, striking you.
You say 5?
5, yes.
Wait.
So it's now your turn, Steve, as you've just been struck by 3 heavy crossbow bolts coming from across the room. Thunk, thunk, thunk.
Well, Steve is going to aim at that guy there, which
Yep.
is the guy that was up there,
It was, yes.
and he's going to whip out his that heavy crossbow, and he's going to pull a bolt out of his stomach, load it, and fire it back at him.
For flavor, sure, why not?
Hit with 5 to hit and miss.
Yeah, maybe it's the blood on the arrow. It veers wide in flight, but misses.
And then I'm going to move back and say, awaiting orders, Captain. Moriel.
That's your turn. Elba, you're on board. Vanessa's on deck. Elba, JJ, your turn.
Sorry, I thought you said I was next.
No, you're up.
What does hold action mean?
This means they're waiting for a specific thing before they can do anything. So they're holding your action. And I didn't ask you guys specifically what you were holding for either, but I'm assuming you're holding for word from Moriel.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just do that too. Hold my action and wait for what Mario has to say to herself.
Okay. Vanessa, you're up. Moriel on deck.
So I look back at Moriel, and I'm not sure if this is a good idea, but I will do it anyway.
Do it.
So I'll charge up my infiltrator gauntlet.
Okay.
Ready?
You're going to hold your action as well?
Mm-hmm.
From inside, you hear muffled voices coming from inside. Not entirely sure what's being said, but Moriel, it's your turn.
Knowing that if we go into the room, we need to be more coordinated and ready to go. If we stay out here, we could be attacked from 2 fronts. Looking at the group, how badly wounded are we currently?
Everyone's looking You can have a quick look around. Everyone can sort of give you an idea of how damaged they are.
Hex looks pretty good considering.
Yeah, the captain as well. I mean, he's taken some hits, but he's all right.
You're not too bad.
Steve looks half as good as normal. Maybe a little less.
Benassus is untouched, but probably not for long.
We either go in or we retreat back to the previous room and let them come to us. Captain, what do you suggest?
6 seconds, guys.
Captain just retreat. He goes, don't give him a chance. Shields in front. Let's go. Rush him.
Let's go. Let's do that. Now, as my bonus action, I'm going to spend my last of my first levels to regain 2 more sorcery points.
No problem.
I will suggest that Captain and Alba go first, being our shields. Benassus and myself take second. Oh no, sorry. Steve and myself take second position. Benassus, Hex at the back. We move as one. That's my call. Now, how are we going to do this, DM, to move as one? Because obviously everyone's going to have their own relative turn.
Yeah,
And everybody's held their action until they've heard word.
Just give me 1 second here. We should be able to work it. So if you want to, you want to group together. So where do you want to? You want the two shields in front? You said.
Yeah, 2 shields in front.
So who has a shield?
Second, and then Benassus and Hex at the back.
You want to move in together.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. How long is that acid holding to from Benassus?
It holds up
earlier?
it holds for a minute, so it'll still be there. So you'll either have to go in a single line, or someone's going to take acid damage. It lasts for a minute. Is it concentration, Benassus? Is it something that you can stop concentrating on?
Let me have
Or was
a
it
quick
just
look.
last? Or was it just stay there for a minute until it goes?
Concentration.
You can drop concentration if you wish. That would be up to you. Because everyone's held an action, we'll move this next action. I'll get you all to move as one, because everyone's pretty much held this action. So as part of that, Benassus, if you wish to drop concentration, you can so, removing the acid, so you can move freely.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'll
what
do
about
that.
those who didn't hold?
Who didn't hold?
So Hex was gonna, but she ended up firing a firebolt, and I think Steve didn't either.
Steve didn't hold.
I'd say I'll give you one turn to move as a unit. Those that didn't hold an action won't be able to do anything but move.
Movement, yeah, sweet.
But those that did hold an action, as you move forward, your actions will then become. We'll do it one by one as a simultaneous thing, and then we'll move on to Hex. Will be your turn. Your action will follow anyway. So
Okay, cool.
so we'll do that. So first things first. Oh crap! You will make a decision to move together. How far into the room are you wishing to move? Your full 30 feet of movement, or just until you engage someone?
Yeah, I mean, the captain's gonna move in cohesion with Alba. But the captain's gonna move his full 30 feet of movement. As he's charging in, would you allow me to chug a potion?
No,
Okay, never mind. Yeah, he just walks in cohesion with Elba.
because you've got about 20 feet of movement to here. I'll give you. I mean, I'm probably giving you way longer than I should, but you got 20 feet of movement to there before the room turns, and you can see that there's a physical turn in the wall. So you got either go 20 or 30.
I say we go to 20 to see what we're dealing with, and then make appropriate actions then.
So you move 20 feet into the room.
Okay.
Which reveals more of what you can see in here. So those that held an action, who was Elba, Captain, and Bernassus, I believe, held your actions. You didn't really make an action either, did you? I know you changed sorcery points, the spell slots, or vice versa, I forget. So, Elba, you have...
it's a bonus action, yes.
Yep, so you will have your action as well. So first off, we'll use Moriel's action because it was your turn. Moving in from your position within the group, you see pretty much what you see in this room. Still more combatants, several larger individuals, more heavily armored, in the near a stairwell. Stairwells leading down into a darkened room.
Okay, so Moriel is just going to use Chill Touch as a cantrip.
Yep.
And Maripa should allow me to hit the second one because I believe that will be in 5 foot.
It will certainly be. Quite correct.
Excellent. All right. $14 to hit.
That hits.
Beautiful.
That will hit both.
Yep. For 15 points of necrotic damage.
Nice. That skeletal hand reaching up once again, killing the secondary in that line. First one takes the damage, but he's still standing.
They can't regain any hit points until the start of my next turn.
Roger that.
Until then, the Chill Touch hand clings to both targets.
No problem. One is dead, so that one's still death touched. So, held actions. Elba, you have a held action. What do you want to do?
I'm going to use my bow on the person right there in front of me.
On there? No
Yep.
worries. 15 hits. Oh no, sorry, that was the damage done.
Ooh.
Right, 8 misses. Flies wide. You do get 2 attacks.
Yeah, I'll try again. Oh, God, 7.
That misses.
I haven't used it in a while, so I keep missing.
So that is your action done. Bernassus, you held an action.
Can I see that if this guy's wearing metal over here? Not that it matters. It's just flavor.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty obvious. He's got a metal helmet on.
Yeah. So seeing he's got metal on, I'll charge my infiltrator gauntlet and fire at that dude. $14 to hit.
And let me double check. That'll miss.
Alright, and I'll
Strikes wide of the target.
charge again. 22 to hit.
That one will hit.
Alright, and I'm going to put some extra juice into it. It gives me an extra d6. So I roll
No
the
worries.
first damage, which is a 6, and then a d6.
Juice it up. Is that lightning damage by any chance?
Yep. 9 lightning damage.
9 lightning damage. The lightning arcs through his indeed metal armor, causing him to stagger backwards a little bit. And you can see the smoke rise from his superheated armor. A couple of real hot spots. That is your held action. Who else held an action? Captain, did you hold an action?
I certainly did.
So, your held action.
Okay. Captain's going to whip out his short sword. I know it doesn't have the thrown property, but he's going to throw it anyway at this dude.
The closest dude? This one?
This one over here.
This one here? Let's see what the range is there. 25 feet. Ooh. Roll to hit. Minus 2.
Too easy. A 9.
So you miss and you throw your sword away.
Just
Clash-
a short sword though.
It clangs off the wall, clangs across the floor, doesn't even reach him. So the clang. It's like, well, it's definitely not designed to be thrown. He gives you a look to like say, what the fuck?
Captain's they've got to look back to Hex and go, do the thing with the fire and the ball. And then that's his turn.
And that's his turn. Next up is Hex's turn, because that's all the held actions, I believe. So Hex, it is your turn.
Hicks holds up Fuzzy and says, I'll go you one better. I'm going to welcome them to where I've just been. And she does indeed use a bonus action to use a sorcery point, adding to her action, being the fireball, making the fireball an acid ball centered here.
And this guy here raises a hand and points it at you. And your spell fizzles. Counter spell.
How high did he cast? Oh, counter spell. Uh-oh. It seems that one stopped me, and I pointed him. I've used my bonus action in my action.
So that is you.
Correct.
It is now his turn. And he grins at you as he heard what you said. And centered. Doesn't seem he cares about his friends. You will all need to make a dexterity saving throw as a fireball ignites in the center of you.
Reaction shield for Hicks.
No worries.
That 26.
I better make sure that actually does something.
So that'll be for half damage.
19.
So anyone over a DC 16 will take half damage.
I won't use your reaction, it won't do anything, so that's fine. What are we rolling at? 20?
Dex. Dex
Dex.
save.
Yep. So I got a 12, but I'm going to reaction absorb elements.
No worries.
I'm going to use my luck. Hey, nat 20.
Nice. So all
Good
half
use of my luck.
damage.
Thank you, Yanti.
So you all take half of 45 points of fire damage.
Oh my god.
Can I use uncanny dodge to half that again?
Yeah, actually, did you succeed on the save?
Yes, I did.
Do you have evasion? Check your feats and traits. If you have evasion, you take no damage anyway. But if you don't have evasion, yes, you can use uncanny dodge to go half of half.
I can't see it there.
Okay, so
42, JJ. 22.
22. So half of, yeah, so it rounds down. So 22 points of fire damage. If you want to use uncanny dodge, Steve, that'll be 11 points of fire damage.
Me.
As these guys need to also make that save. This guy here.
Yeah, just as a cool DM, I didn't use my reaction.
No worries. Natural 20. But I believe he still fails anyway and dies in a ball of flame. This guy here fails with a 2, so takes 45 points of fire damage and is engulfed and killed in a ball of flame. He then moves down to here, and it is Captain Moore's turn.
Captain is definitely going to chug a greater potion of healing.
Greater, that's 44 plus 4.
So I'll do that. I'll do that after my turn is over. But he is going to... So they got 30 feet of movement, so that's 35 to get to that dude. So he's going to use that, which is a bonus and an action to dash, but then he's going to use action surge as well.
So you're going to use both, but you're going to use bonus action to. You're going to use your action to dash.
Sorry, yes, and then action surge.
And then action surge, which gives you your attacks. Yes.
Yeah.
Go for it.
He's going to make 2 swings. Oh my god! First with the natural 1.
No worries.
And the second one is a 10.
That'll also miss.
Great.
Both swings miss. He seems to dodge your attacks, moving a little quicker than you. So 8 points, plus 4, so it'd be 12 points of healing for you. Next up, in the order of things, is the more heavily armored guy. He is going to target you, Moriel, with 2 shots from heavy crossbow. First, natural 20, 18 points of piercing damage. Strikes you in the upper right shoulder.
Moriel is down.
Second shot will ring out nonetheless, striking you with an 18. Actually, will be at disadvantage. I will roll another one. So he'll miss, so you do not lose that death save. You are, because you'd be prone, so that would be at disadvantage for a ranged attack. Moriel drops unconscious. That is his turn. He's going to move himself to here. Next up is another hound comes crawling up the stairs towards you guys. Gets to about there. This guy moves forward. Give himself line of sight. Targeting you, Hex. First one misses. Second one hits. 3 points of piercing damage. Large crossbow bolt strikes you.
3 points.
3, yep, 3 piercing. Steve, you're up. Elba on board.
I'll have to roll my dice to see if he hit one of my phases.
Oh, he's still up too, yeah. So
And
above a 6.
above an 8 this time.
Above an 8, because you've only got 2 left. So he does strike you.
5, so he strikes me.
You take the damage.
So I take it.
So
That means
you're-
Hexakara is unconscious.
Hex is also down. So that, yes, so Steve, it's now your turn. You've seen Hex and Moriel both drop to the ground, unconscious.
Oh, awesome. Well, there's not a hell of a lot I can do about that. Steve is going to take a healing potion. So you're going to tell me what it is, just a standard healing potion.
2d4 plus 2.
He's going to heal himself for 6 points of
6 points of healing damage for you as a bonus action. Your action.
I am going to. Oh, shit. I can't see. Probably can't see him. Might be lucky enough to get him.
You'd have line of sight on this guy. You'd have line of sight on all. Probably. Yeah, you'd have line of sight on him. You probably wouldn't be able to see him. So the dog and these two, you would have line of sight on.
Sweet. I am going to move. Not with the ruler. Damn it, I always do that. I'm going to move in front of the down people.
Yep.
So that I'm at the front. And then I am going to aim at the big, chunky, yellow guy
Oh, this guy? Okay, cool.
with Mr. Crossbow.
Shoot away, sir.
With 16 to hit.
It hits.
Oh joy. 4 damage.
4 piercing damage. Arrow strikes him. Ugh. Just grins at you. He's a big boy, but he's not heavily armored.
And that's all I'm going to do.
That's all you're going to do?
That's all I can do.
Pretty much. Elba, you're up. Bernassus on board.
Want to use my electric breath, whatever it's fucking called.
Oh, yeah.
Breath weapon.
Your breath weapon. You're going to have to get a bit closer to use it. It only has was it 30 foot?
Yeah, 30 foot.
30 foot line, so you're going to have to get a little closer depending on who you want to attack.
Guy in the armor and the guy next to him with the yellows.
You want to try and get both of them?
If possible.
Because yours is a line, I don't know that you'd have to move down. Oh, you move down to here.
Yeah, if I can do that, I'm happy to do that.
You'll only get either the dog and the yellow guy. You're not going to reach the guy in the armor.
Then.
Just go for them
fine.
two. So you move down to there.
It's a 5 foot wide line, so if he steps between them and aims it between the silver and yellow one, he should be able to get
here.
the dog as well. I think that's how it works.
It's 5 foot wide. So if I move you there. Oh, damn it.
Sorry, I'm not trying to tell him how to play, but probably.
No, you're good, because I had to put him halfway on the line with the squares, that's all. But with that, I'd say you get all three of them with that, even though it doesn't suggest it in that particular situation. Because of the whole line locking with boundary, we'll say that you get all three.
Okay.
So roll your breath weapon damage. And what is your breath weapon? Blue dragon.
Blue dragon.
So is it lightning or?
Yep, lightning.
Lightning damage.
And need dex save of 13. I'm pretty sure it is.
Yep.
And I got 8 damage.
8 damage. So they'll make dex saves here. They're all reasonably dexterous. So first one's the dog. Fails with a 4, takes full damage. Full damage. This guy. What's your DC? Spell save DC on it?
Dex has a 13. It says
13,
next
so
to
he
it. Yes,
gets half. He'll get full damage anyway because he's vulnerable. The lightning because of his armor. So they all take full 8 points of lightning damage as Elba moves into position and takes a deep breath in, exhales a line of lightning. Well done. Is there anything else you wish to do? Does that cost you an action? Yes?
Pretty sure it is.
Yep.
Action, yeah. Action every short rest.
Yep, so that's your action. So you deliver bonus action and probably 10 feet of movement.
I'll probably just stay there.
Stay there, no
my
worries.
turn.
That's your turn. Bernassus, you're up.
So Bernassus looks down at Moriel and he's like, I hope you have a plan. This is the last of my magic. And he leans down and casts Cure Wounds on Moriel.
No worries.
For 10 points of healing.
10 points of
Damage.
healing damage.
And then I'm going to grab my potion out as a bonus action and like off his belt.
Yep, go for it.
Skull that.
Roll that for yourself as well. So Moriel, you blink to consciousness. You are prone but awake. Next up, another hound comes in from the stairs and pushes into you, Elba. Does not attack at this point, but you now have 2 hellhounds surrounding you. Moriel, it is your turn. You are awake. You can stand up using half your movement, leaving you 15 feet left to move if you wish. But it is now your turn with Hex on board, who is still unconscious. Your turn, Magic.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Sorry.
That's all good, buddy.
Okay. Moriel will... I'm just having a look what I've got. Okay. We'll twin spell once again. Cure, second level cure wounds.
Yep.
On himself. And Hex.
No problem. Duly noted.
Sorry. Which will be... Kidding me, 6 points.
So Hex, once again, you sputter awake. Deep breath in. Eyes flicker open. Again on the ground.
Bonus action, I'm going to cast Spiritual Weapon. Here.
No problem. Again, where is your spiritual weapon? Here it is.
So once again, the sigh rises from the ground, and Moriel swings at our caster friend here.
No worries. Roll to hit.
10.
That will miss.
I will use another luck,
No worries. Reroll.
if I may.
Yep, reroll. All good.
14.
That will hit.
He will take 6 points of force damage.
Badoosh. The giant size slicing down, opening a wound on his arm. Is that your turn, Moriel?
Moriel will back out to here with the remaining 15 feet,
No worries.
and that'll end his turn.
Ixkara, your turn. You can stand up with half your movement.
Hicks does so. Hicks is unhappy. The one in front of Captain... whatever the hell, I
Yep.
can't remember his name right now.
But bear in mind that these pillars are ceiling to floor.
Oh, are those pillars?
Yes.
Okay, I thought they were like tables or something. Do I have line of sight to that man then?
Depending on what you want to do, I would say possibly. If you were looking at roll to hit, he would have some form of cover.
Have to be able to see him.
You have to
It
be able to
does
see
not look like you
him. I would say you'd be able to see. You'd be able to partially see him. So, like I said, I'll give him. I'll up his AC accordingly.
If I move to here...
You've got 15 feet.
Mm, 15 feet. In that case, Hex will change her mind. Hex will cast on herself mirror image once again, saying, "Me, me, me," and 3 apparitions of herself appear around her. She moves out by Moriel, with not much more she can do.
No problem.
Bonus action, converting sorcery points to spell slot points.
Not a problem. Right. Captain Moore. I need you to make a wisdom save, please.
Cool. Natural 20.
Feel a pushing on your mind as you see this robed figure sort of tilt his head slightly and look directly at you. You manage to shrug it off. And he'll try and stab you with his dagger as a bonus action.
As he does that, he's going to say, I know shape changes with better magic tricks than that.
Natural 1. Oh, Jesus. So he misses with the dagger as he strikes nothing but armor. Now it is your turn.
And then as he brings down his sword, going to make 2 attacks. He's going to say, do you feel lucky, punk? Well, do ya? For a natural 20 on the first one.
Nice.
And the second one, 8.
So roll your custom damage. So maximize your longsword, whatever the max damage on your longsword is.
Yep, 10.
And then roll normally. So 15. So yeah, 15 points of slashing damage. It hurt him. It's opened up a large wound, and he is bleeding heavily.
Alrighty, that is really all he can do.
He can do. It's now this dude's turn. He moves into this position beside you around the pillar. Puts himself in a position of advantage. And he will make his 2 attacks against you at the more. 15 to hit.
That misses.
That misses, no worries. 22 to hit.
That hits.
5 points of slashing damage as he slashes his longsword across your upper thigh to the back of your knees. And that is pretty much his turn. Next up is this guy. The elbow, you've got a large fiery dog in front of you. He is going to make 2 bite attacks against you using pack tactics with his friend close by. 19 to hit. So you will take 10 points of piercing damage and 7 points of fire damage as he bites into your arm. Second attack, 18 to hit, which I believe hits you as it just hits. So 8 points of piercing damage and 8 points of fire damage.
Yeah, I'm down. I was down on the first attack.
You're down on the first attack. So the second attack, you'll lose 1 death save. So just mark that down on your. Just mark it down on a piece of paper, or just keep it in mind. On your next turn, you'll be making death saves. So what that means is you'll be rolling a d20. You need to get a 10 or higher to succeed. You have 2 saves left. If you get to 3 failed saves, you die.
I lost a death save, is it called, sorry?
So you've just lost a death save. So just mark it down on a piece of paper that you've lost 1. Yeah, you have lost 1 out of 3.
Yep.
Next up is this dude. He is going to move to here into you, Elba. Not Elba, Steve. And he is going to make his attack at you with a mace. He gets 2 attacks also. First one will miss. Second one, I believe, will miss with a 13. I think you're 15, you said?
Yep, that's correct.
So he swings and misses twice with this heavy mace. It's now your turn, Steve. Elba, you're on board, so you'll be making a death save on your turn, Elba. So after Steve.
Is Elba within 5 feet of him?
Elba is unconscious, so it does not count,
Yeah.
even if he
Okay.
was.
Even fuck. Okay. Steve's gonna call out. Yeah, Blue Dragon's down. Are we running away or what? Everyone seems to be running away. And then I'm going to turn and face the guy that just attacked me.
Yep. Make your attacks.
And make my attacks. Not with that on. Well, first one with a nat 20.
Nice. That definitely hits.
Remind me what I'm doing here.
So
that's
11 points of slashing damage, piercing damage, piercing. 11 points of damage.
11 points of damage. And then with my other hand, I'm going to
The
use my
offhand. Go for it.
for 13 to hit.
That will hit. He doesn't have a lot of armor on. But just your damage without your modifier.
There's 2.
2 points of damage. Not enough to kill him, but he's looking pretty rough.
And as a bonus action, can I take a potion?
Your bonus action was your offhand. As a
Okay,
rogue.
yes, not a problem.
So, Elba, I need you to roll a d20 and you need to get a 10 or higher to succeed. Don't tell us what it is, just mark it down. So if you get over 10, it's a success, and you need 3 successes to regain consciousness.
I'll roll a d20 in that corner part, yeah?
Yep, just roll a d20 on your... Yeah, you can roll it there. Roll it privately if you want. Doesn't
I
matter.
don't know how to.
That's all good. We'll roll it. So that would... We'll mark it. That's a failure. So you're down 2. The points of this will roll it out in the open for you.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. That is your turn. Redassus, it is your turn. You've heard Steve yell out that the blue dragon is down.
Alba's out. And then I'm going to fly up and go next to Steve. If I'm up in the air, can I see the 2 by Captain Moore? This one particularly.
So these go ceiling to floor.
Yep.
So if you're up in the air, you still couldn't see perfectly past it. He would get cover, but you can see him through there.
Alright, I'm going to...
Because you're 10 feet off the ground, yeah?
Yep.
Yep.
So I'm going to move to there.
You would have line of sight on him there, definitely.
Yep. So I'm going to use my infiltrator glance again. First on the one in the middle.
On this dude? Okay.
Then, yep. 19 to hit.
That hits.
For 9 points of lightning damage.
Again, the lightning energy arcs through his armor. He's not happy. He's singed, and he is looking pretty bloody.
Yep.
And your second?
Second one's going to go to the other one.
That one? No worries.
Yep.
He is slightly easier to hit.
18 to
That
hit.
hits.
And I'm going to pump some extra energy into this one. I can do it once per turn.
No worries. Juice it up.
Ah. So that's 5 plus a d6. So 6.
Again, not enough to kill him, but he's not looking good.
Yep.
Is that your turn?
Yes.
Next up is this guy's turn. Seeing Alba go down with the orders that have been given, moves into you, Steve, and makes its attack against you. This time he won't have advantage because he's not close enough to his pal. But he will, however, breathe out. You need to make a dex save, DC 12, as he takes a breath in and breathes fire out through the door.
17.
Will take half damage, 15 points. You can use Uncanny Dodge at his reaction,
Yes, I'll take an Kenny dodge.
so that'll half it again, so it'll be 7 points of fire damage. Shouldn't tell you these things, but I will. But that is its turn as it breathes the fire out to there. Moriel, is now your turn. Hex, you're on board.
Okay. Moriel, after being going down, feels a sudden surge in his body. And as an action, you will see Moriel use Necrotic Shroud He transforms into a reaper. Black wings appear from his back. He's then going to move in. Everybody in 10 foot needs to make a charisma saving throw.
Charisma save. These will all be fails, I'm assuming.
Including Steve.
A 0! So the dog fails. Steve, you need to make charisma save as well. Natural 1 on the thug.
I don't have to, yeah, because I'm down.
No, you're unconscious. So
Yeah.
all the enemies within the 10 feet all fail.
They are now frightened until the end of my they are frightened of me until the end of my next turn.
Okay, these two do not seem to be affected by your ability. This guy, however, has the look of absolute terror on his face as this visage of death is hovering next to him. So he has disadvantage on all attacks against you while he can see you.
Frightened creature has disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while the source of its fear is within its sight. So that's all
Awesome.
ability checks and attack rolls. Doesn't matter who.
Sweet.
So now I just got to check what I can do here.
Problem.
Healing word on Alba. Which will at the second level 8 points of healing damage.
So you're no longer making death saves, Elba. You have 8 points of HP and you're conscious. You're lying prone on the ground. You've got a hound breathing down on you, but you're conscious and awake. So that's you, Moriel.
Yep.
X, you're up. Captain Moore on board.
Hex is running out of patience. She moves to here. She knows she can she knows, doesn't matter. She doesn't need line of sight anymore. She holds Fuzzy up and she says, Fuzzy, this shall be fun. And inside this one's head, he will hear, I'm sick of you. You should die now. He needs to make a wisdom save of 15 or better.
You don't need line of sight for distant whispers.
Nope. Just 60 feet in range.
Wisdom save.
As long as they can hear me.
Fails with a 9.
He suffers 13 damage. Psychological, I was going to say. Psychic damage.
Psychological works for me. And as the whisper of your voice reaches his mind, you see him clasp his head in agony. His eyes start to bleed, his ears and nose. And then his eyes just burst. And he collapses to the floor.
Then Hex takes the second potion from her belt and drinks it down. Just before she does, she calls out, I'm on my way, Captain, to help. Stand tall. That is it for her.
Captain Moore.
It's gonna make an attack of that one. See how I go.
For it. You can see he's more heavily armored than the rest.
16.
That misses. Strikes his armor.
Can I use a luck? I remembered this time.
You got a luck. Use it. Reroll. Must use new roll.
Oh my god.
Still clang against the armor.
It's alright. That's his first attack. He's gonna make the second one. Oh yes, for a 24.
24 hits. He's looking pretty pretty terrible.
For a total of 13 points of piercing damage.
Not enough to kill him, however. Pretty close. He, in fact, drops to one knee and drops his weapon. He is breathing heavily. You can hear almost the death rattle in his lungs. He's not looking good at all. That's you.
That is definitely me.
It is now his turn. He would normally get multi-attacks, but as he has dropped to one knee and has dropped his weapon, his main weapon, he will now attack you once with a short sword as he tries to stab up at you from one knee. And misses. Just doesn't seem to have the energy.
Great. I would like to use my reaction
Sure.
to make a riposte attack on him.
Repost. Smash him. How are you
16.
attacking him?
Well, I
It
don't know.
misses
if
him,
16
hits him on the helmet.
Yeah, but I was gonna try to knock him out anyway
Yeah,
with my thing.
It hits him on the helmet. You sort of skype off the helmet. Clang!
Cool.
So, next up is this guy's turn. He has disadvantage on his attacks as the creature of his fear is standing right there. He's still, in fact, he doesn't even want to look at you, so he turns and attacks at Elba. Not Elba, Steve. God damn it. With his 2 attacks. Natural 20 on the first, but he's got disadvantage. I forgot. Rolled a second time. Misses. Second missing with a 9. Actually, that would have been a straight roll. Never mind, I won't do it. He's got pack tactics as well. But I'll leave it as it is. He misses both attacks. And Steve, you managed to dodge this large mace incoming directed at your head. Steve, it is now your turn with Elba on board.
Excellent. So now do I get things?
Now you'll get sneak attack.
Sweet. Okay, I'm going to attack the oh god, that guy again.
Go for it.
Further than that 20 again.
Nice.
26. Wait. Yeah.
So your damage, he doesn't have a lot. He's not looking pretty good. He doesn't have a lot of hit points left. So
10 damage.
even without your sneak attack, roll your sneak attack. Just roll it. I want to see how badly you destroy him. The 22 points of piercing damage. You see the fear in this guy's face. He misses attacks against you, and you just think, fuck it. You grasp the dagger in your trunk, and you just thrust it forward, right into his throat, and watch him as he gurgles and dies, sliding off your dagger.
As a bonus action, I'm going to take a potion.
No worries. You must be getting low on potions, you guys. Didn't get too many. Elba, your turn. Bernasis on board. So you're awake and conscious. You can stand back up, but it'll cost you 15 feet of your movement. So if you want to move, you only have 15 feet. But you do have
stand up.
You do have a dog still
Right in front of me.
right there.
I will stand up and go straight for the swing at the dog.
Go for
Both
it.
attacks.
Roll to attack, sir.
Oh my god.
Natural 1 on the first. The almost death has had its effect on Elba. Both attacks missing.
Do you have any lucks or rerolls, JJ?
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can I use a luck on the
You can
last
use
one?
the luck, so re-roll the last one for me.
Oh my god.
That will still miss, unfortunately. So you do have a bonus action and movement if you wish. It is up to you.
I don't even know.
I
what
don't know
do
if
with
you.
my bonus
Yeah, I
action.
don't know if you can do much with your bonus action as a fighter.
I don't think I can do anything. How far can I move that 15 feet?
You'll get an attack of opportunity if you move. The dog will attack you as you move away. bear that in mind. Just double check your feats and traits page to see if you have any special abilities, like things like action surge or what was the other one? I know what I'm talking about. I'll have a quick look.
Sorry.
So good.
Second win.
Second win, that's the one I was thinking of. I don't know. Should have that.
I got that.
Got that. So you can use second win as a bonus action, which will give you a heal.
Yeah, I'll do that then.
So if you read up second win there, it should tell you what you roll for it.
Once per short rest, you can use a bonus reaction to regain 1d10 plus 5 HP.
So roll a d10 on your custom rolls, and add 5, and that'll be a heal that you take. So 14 points of healing.
Cool.
Yes, after this battle, Nutty, you can wait.
Yeah, I'll just stay there.
That's
then.
pretty much
After
you then.
that.
Banassus, you're up.
So Banassus goes full magpie and he swoops this dog. not to attack it, but just
Oh,
to
come
get its
on.
attention.
He's so
I
close
have-
to death. Just do it.
I have a minus modifier to
Oh,
my
you, do you?
melee
Oh,
attacks.
oh, damn. That would have been so
Fly
cool.
over the top of its head, turn around, and lightning.
No
gauntlet,
worries.
Smash it.
Go for it.
24 to hit.
That hits.
7 points of lightning damage.
Singeing fur.
And I'm gonna just pump the extra into this first one because I'm angry and I don't want Albert to go down again.
No
So
worries.
the extra d6 is an extra 3.
Next to 3.
Alright, and
Not-
it's still standing.
Yeah,
I'm
still
guessing.
standing. He's not looking too bad. Like he hasn't taken much damage this one.
Alright, next turn. Whoa. 11 to hit.
That misses.
I'm gonna use a luck. Come on. 21 to hit.
21 hits.
For 6 lightning damage.
6 lightning damage. He's looking bloodied now. He's looking pretty good.
And that'll be me.
That'll
I
be
will still-
you. Next up is this guy. He is going to turn this way. And see, make sure you can do that. Yes, you can. Rerolls that. No, he did not recharge his fire breath. He's going to make a bite attack at you, Moriel, times 2. So 20 to hit. 6 piercing, 10 fire to you, Moriel. Second, 19 to hit. 5 piercing, 12 fire.
Alright, so Moriel's down on that first attack.
On the first attack, you're down.
Mm-hmm.
So the second will be an automatic failure on your 1 death save.
Yep.
And cool. So this time you will see Moriel once again go down. That is the creature's turn. It's now your turn, Moriel. So I need you to make your first death save.
Yeah, Robert makes a point. Was that one? Oh no, they aren't frightenable, are they?
No,
Damn.
they are immune to being frightened. That's a success. Next up is you, Hexkara, with Captain Moore on board.
Hicks is not happy seeing the leader go down. Not a healer, however. She steps into the room, looking around. Her best bet is to stop the attack on Moriel. She's going to... spiritual weapon goes 2, says Magic. She's going
does
to
too,
focus all her mind power on that dog. She's going to say, "Leave him alone, you plaything of the dead." And it needs to make a wisdom save for 15 or more.
Natural 20 for 21.
For a hellhound, you dirty dog.
That's why you got a 13 wisdom too.
I believe it takes a half.
I think it still takes half.
Yep. So 4 psychic damage.
Is that halved?
No, that is the half.
That is the half. Cool.
Yep.
So, yeah, it doesn't seem affected at all by your. Well, not too much. It shakes its head and growls a little bit.
Just let me check here. I thought that would do the job because, hey, but. And then, yes, as my bonus action, I'm going to telekinetically shove it, not a spell, but a feature. It needs to make a strength save, DC 15.
30-20.
Oh, damn it. These dogs are much more annoying than I thought.
Yeah, they're a good size, so you can tell he's pretty muscular and pretty strong.
Hicks moves back out the door, but where she can still see Moriel. That is her.
Captain Moore.
Captain, spitting some blood on the floor, is going to look at this dude in front, and he's going to make another attack as he raises his long sword, while saying, "Alright, Mr. Tin Man, come on." With a fucking 9.
Misses. Strikes armor
luck,
again.
Though. I've got another luck.
Roll your luck. Come on, guys.
With a natural 1, are you fucking...
Oh, you're kidding me.
Got a second attack, though.
Second attack.
Oh my god, that one hits with a 24.
Hits. No need to roll damage. You frustrated after the first attack, not miss. You just strike down, you raise it back up and straight down, decapitating him. As hard as you can, as the helmet and head rolling king across the concrete floor. Finally dispatching this armored individual. You have movement and bonus action.
Yes, I do. I will. Ooh. Fuck it.
Don't forget, guys, you can stabilize a down companion with a successful medicine check.
Why can I not move? Anyway, I would move there. Can't click on this. This is weird.
Make sure
Do you require healing kits for that?
I generally don't. Just a
Okay.
successful medical check.
Sweet.
Okay.
I did not realize.
I have no idea what's going on, but I
just
can't
make
move
sure
this.
you haven't got yourself clicked on like something else on the the ruler or something on the left hand side.
No, I haven't. But yeah, I would just go there.
It might be wall thingo.
Could be a wall thing, because those things have walls.
Now I
so,
can. Yeah.
Yeah, would have been a wall. Thing. Would have been a wall issue.
This is definitely risky, but it's right next to the dog. I can.
Yeah, you're within 5 feet. You'd be able to. I mean, I'll raise the DC on the medicine check a little, but if you want to stabilize him, you can. Or have you got a health pot?
No. What I would like to try and do is intimidate the hellhound into attacking me instead.
Okay. Roll intimidation check. What are you going to do to try and get its attention?
I would just say, "Come on, you overgrown chihuahua! Look at me! Take a bite! Come on!"
Roll intimidation.
Oh wait, that's inside. Oops. Oh fuck! I've got a.
Doesn't seem interested in you at all.
I've got an inspiration. Can I add a D10?
Add a D10 if you want. If you want to burn it up on that, that's up to you.
I fucking will. With the 1.
Still doesn't seem interested at all. That is your turn, Captain Moore. It is now this hellhound's turn, and it's not gonna. It can't really reach Bonassus because he's 10 feet in the air, so he's gonna attack poor old Elba once again with a bite attack. Missing with a 9 on the first. On the second, however, 7 points of piercing, 7 fire. So that was against you, JJ.
What was the damage, sorry?
7 piercing, 7 fire, so 14 total. So is Elba still up?
Yep, by just 8.
Elba is still up. Steve, it is your turn with Elba on board. You've got 2 combatants left to go.
So if I try and stabilize, is that an action?
That'll cost you your action, yes.
Sweet it is. If I move to the square below me, will I revoke opportunity?
Because of where... because you're looking at moving down to here.
To there.
Oh, you'd be alright moving against the wall. Bit of a squeeze, but we'll allow it.
Just sort of putting the fat guy out of the way of the caster.
Yep, no worries. So I'll allow it, so you can make your medicine check.
I'll go there and I will do a medicine check and try and stabilize.
So if you are proficient, you can add your proficiency. Otherwise, you obviously can't. It should, if you're proficient, it'll add it anyway. But
No, I can't, and I got a 7, so if I think I've got an advantage. I'm gonna do it.
okay, use your luck, re-roll.
Yes, I'm gonna reroll. Oh, fuck's sake.
Natural 1. You're not really sure how to help him at this point. He's got wounds. You're holding your hand on the wound, but the blood's gushing through. You're not sure why it's not bleeding, why it's not stopping. But you are unable to help him. You've got a bonus action if you want.
I don't think I can do anything. Really.
You can strike you with your offhand at the dog. Still within melee range if you wish. Is your offhand attack, but that's about it.
Sweet, I'll do that.
They make your attack.
18 to hit.
It hits.
With 2 points of damage.
2 points of piercing damage. It's the first time this animal's taken a bit of damage. As minor damage that it is, but it's still there. Elba, it is your turn. Renasus on board.
Just gonna try to swing at this
Smash him.
dog in front of
Smash
me.
him.
I'm hoping so.
He's not looking too good. He's this little bit of hurt. This one.
15.
That hits. Just.
With 13 damage.
13 bludgeoning damage. He's not looking healthy at all.
No, go
One
for
more hit will
another
do
one.
it.
12.
That misses. His second one.
No, not
slightly
using
wide.
luck.
You have another one there.
Yeah, I got 2.
Sweet.
I had 2, yeah.
Reroll.
22. Yeah.
That hits. No need to roll the damage. You just smash the creature's face in. And he was on 2 HP. So another one down. You have movement left if you wish. You no longer have any attacks, however. But as a fighter, I believe you have an ability called Action Surge in your features and traits. So if you were to move, which you would have enough movement to get to the other animal, you could use Action Surge and attack twice more.
Do I have actions?
Let's double check it. Be under your features and traits.
You can take one national action on your turn with used a one-time by a short rest. Okay, I'll use that then. Fuck it.
So yep. So you'll have enough movement to move around behind this animal easily enough. So add advantage. 2 more attacks, please, JJ.
Okay.
As you are in a flanking position.
9.
Roll that again. You didn't roll it at advantage.
Oh crap.
11. Sorry. Yeah, 11 will miss. Roll your second.
22.
Yep, that hits. So your second attack hits. Roll your damage on that second.
11 damage.
11 bludgeoning damage. So that is your turn over. Renasus, you're up. last creature alive in the room.
Right, so Vanessa's is just going to charge his lightning launchers again.
Go for it.
25 to hit.
Hits.
For 8 damage.
No worries.
And 15 to hit.
15 hits, just.
Alright, for 8 plus...
Juicing it up.
8 plus 6 is 14.
So not quite enough to kill him. He's hurt. Looking pretty hurt, but he's still alive. Is that your turn?
I'm going to fly over to here and drop to the floor.
No worries. It is now the hound's turn. As even Captain, the last huge amount of damage that was caused was Banassus, but he wouldn't have really seen that, so he's turned into the biggest, bluest thing he can see. Unfortunately, you were the last one that smashed him, Elba. And he will make 2 attacks on you when I press the right goddamn button. It should be 1 attack. He's too low in health to make 2. Ooh. Before we do that, we need to roll that, which he succeeds on. He is going to cast... Fire breath in that direction. So Alba and Banassus, dexterity saving throw, please. DC 12 to beat.
Mr. DM, sir.
Yes.
May I please use Sentinel feature to attack the dog?
Certainly can. If that's something you can do as a reaction.
I'm going to use my last luck.
No worries. So Elba succeeds for half. Vanessa succeeds for half. So you both take 12 points of fire damage.
Elba's down again.
Not a problem. Elba drops unconscious. So as a sentinel attack, you get that as a reaction just to attack on another attack?
I do. I wasn't sure if I had advantage or not with the flanking, but I missed either way on both.
You would have advantage, but if you missed either way, roll again. You guys are all around surrounding him at the time, so roll that attack one more time, because that would definitely.
Yeah, I miss again.
You definitely missed. So with that, it is Moriel's turn. Another death save, Moriel, please. I believe you have 1 failure, 1 success. Natural 1, that is 2 failures. That would have Moriel as died. If my recollection is correct, DMs in the group tell me if I'm wrong, but natural 1 is a double failure.
Yeah, no, I think he had 2 failures anyway.
I had 1 failure.
Oh, he had 1, did he?
Had 1. Did you not have any failures at all?
I think didn't the dog attack him? Oh no, he died.
He had
and
1
then he got
failure,
one.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So 1 failure, 1 success, because his roll was a success. With a natural 1, that's 3 failures. So that is a death.
Question:
Yes.
would Favor of the Gods allow me to roll 2d4, or because it's a death save?
Let me double check.
This is all new to me, so
just read it out to me. Yep, it's new to me too. I haven't really run Death Domain Cleric, so just read it out so we can
If
clarify.
I fail a saving throw or miss with an attack roll, you roll 2d4.
So
And add it to the-
is a death save.
Yeah, well, okay, roll 2d4 and add it to whatever you just rolled. And if it goes over, even then you still can't get a failure, but it'll drop you from death down to 2 fails.
Only one of them, though.
It'll remove one of your death saves. So yeah, so you are not dead.
Oh, that's so lucky. Oh,
You were still unconscious with 2 failed death saves.
Yep. Thank you.
Still fails the death save, but it does not kill you.
Thankful for the word save on that.
Yeah, because it says save.
well,
I agree. If it says death save is a death save, it's a saving throw. So,
Cool, that's lucky.
well done, magic. This is why you need to read your sheet, people, so you can pick up on these things. Because I don't know everything about every character class and what their abilities are. So well done.
What's your god, Muriel? I'm gonna start praying.
Hex, it is your turn. Captain Moore on
The
board.
god of yes.
Is that damn dog still alive?
Yes, it is. Just is
Shit.
hanging on.
Hex ignores the dog altogether. No, does she? Doesn't she?
You can
She
see you have two
moves.
companions downed.
She moves in, and as she's moving, she draws the final potion from her pack. And I would say, being a DM myself, and I imagine you'll be the same, drawing the potion from my pack, walking and administering the potion will be my entire turn.
Yes.
I'm going to administer that potion to Moriel if the DM allows.
So I would say that'd be your action, your movement,
Correct.
bonus
Everything.
action to administer, which is how we pretty much ruled it from my first campaign. So
Day dot, so that's cool. So I'm
Yep.
going to roll that now.
so roll your administering.
7 plus 4.
So 7 plus 4 is 11 points of healing damage to Moriel. Sputters into consciousness.
And I am all out of potions. And I say, someone destroy that damn dog and get the other bird dragon man thing up so we can finish these idiots.
Captain Moore, it is your turn.
And the captain is
You're gonna
gonna take
redeem
two
yourself.
swings. He's gonna go, I'm trying. Gonna make 2 hits
Attack twice,
one.
sir.
with a 10.
Misses.
Second one with an 8.
They both miss. You're standing right there. Roll them at advantage. Reroll them. You guys are surrounding this thing, so reroll both attacks.
There's an 18 hit.
Right, 18 hits. I forgot about the advantage. That's my bad. But that's some seriously bad rolls. Oh my god.
Yeah, you're having a rough night.
4 points of damage.
Not enough to kill it. It's still alive. It's not
Second
looking
one.
good, and it's starting to turn and cower and growl, trying to figure out what it's going to do with you guys surrounding it.
The second one with the 24.
That hits.
Oh, thank God, with 11. So 15 in total, I think.
It's
15 in
enough.
total.
It's enough. It's only got a few hit points left. It's enough to kill it as you finally just sort of hacking away. Manage to bring it to down to its sort of haunches and down to the ground. It dies. And that will end our initiative. And we'll take a break right there too, guys. We'll hold it there. Alba is unconscious. We will rectify that when we get back. But we'll take a 5-minute break so people can compose themselves. I've seen a couple of comments in chat. But we will be right back. So Nutty can coffee as well, otherwise she'll get angry and get all coffee angry on me. We can't have that. So we'll be right back, everybody. We're obviously going to use the Curse of Strahd BRB, but we'll be right back in a few moments. Cheers for hanging out. Hello, and we're back. So, interactions in the 5e include drawing a potion can be used in tandem with your action and movement, so it doesn't take up as an extra action. Yeah, so that's pretty much how we ruled that on it anyway, I think. As an action and movement, you drew the potion and moved to Moriel, and then as your bonus action, you administered it. Which is how I've always ruled it in my games, that it costs you a bonus action to use a potion. If you're drawing it from a belt, it's a free action. If you're drawing it from a pack, it costs you as part of your action and movement. Because it seems fair, you're focused on one thing, getting that potion out, ready to administer it, and you're moving for a purpose, rather than you're giving people attacks and stuff based on that as well. Gets a little scary.
Why is that door opening and closing?
I don't know. Who's clicking on the door? It's phantoms, ghosts. But anywho, stop clicking on the door. Whoever that is. Drax, I can see that smirk, son of a bitch. You can see the smirk on his face. Real easy. We can go, oh, now you can't do anything. Which is good because we're in an RP moment slightly anyway. So, as the final creature dies, we're all on this, we are. Final creature dies, and you now sort of rally around Elba, who is unconscious on the floor. Elba, can I get you to make a death save for me, please? Just a single death save at this point. So that is a success. So turn it back over to you guys. The initiative order's over. It's up to you what you do. You've got 12 seconds to render aid.
Moriel's just going to cast Basic Mist.
Sweet.
As a cantrip for 6 points of healing damage.
No need to roll anymore.
So Benassus doesn't know what Moriel's doing, so
Yep.
he grabs his bag off.
Cool.
He's like, I found these 3 health potions. And I'll grab it out and I'll try and pry open Albert's mouth, and he's probably coming to.
Yeah, so as that happens, the beatific mist pops off. He gets to heal. His eyes flicker open just as you go to open his mouth, and you start pouring this liquid down his gullet, and he chokes and sputters, but manages to get some down, so roll that heal as well. But he's Elba, you are now awake and conscious with all of your newfound companions around you, with 12 points of healing total for you.
We did well, everyone. It was a hard-fought battle. Benassus, I must commend you on keeping most of us alive. And Moriel, my leader,
And she sort of bows her head.
I do appreciate what you did for me. That will not be forgotten. I owe a great debt to you. Do you not think maybe we should get to a safer place? This is uncharted territory.
We need to be in a safe place. We're all banged up. I know myself, I'm expended on my magic. I'm sure Hex is in the same. I'm sure Benassus is also the same. And as Moriel is talking to you guys, you see the dark wispy that's been surrounding his armor all this time. You watch it run up to his back and transform into 2 black wings. And for a moment, you will see Moriel's eyes change. The whole eye, other than the iris, goes black, but the iris is all red. And once the wings complete, the eyes turn back to normal.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, we should go back to maybe the room with the one door. That way, people can't come in from both sides, maybe. Is everyone able to make it back that far?
I think so. Maybe travel in a similar approach to how we entered this room.
You guys would also still see Hicks's face is still like the 50s sort of pin-up girl look. Short black hair, plain, normal looking face. She hasn't had a chance to reactivate her guys.
Captain, before leaving, would pick up his short sword, but be staring, but try not to make it obvious that he's looking at Moriel.
Steve will go around and pick up arrows as well.
Roll a d6.
Well,
You find 5 intact crossbow bolts usable.
has anyone else fired anything? Because I know, JJ has. Has anyone else fired?
I think JJ is the only one that fired any arrows apart from these cultists. You have bodies here too, guys, just so you remember, even though they've been deleted off the map, the bodies are still there. You've got several bodies lying about. There's the body of the dogs, you've got a cultist out in the hallway, several bodies of cultists and things in this room.
So, included in that 5, I'd get JJ's bolts as well, arrows would have there.
I think you only fired 1 or 2.
I only fired 1 or 2, so 5 covered.
Yeah, well, you had the cultists were firing heavy crossbows as well, so.
Okay, sweet.
Before we move, let's search and burn the bodies, and then we'll go somewhere safe.
Yeah. Hexakara, I don't mean to be rude, although I probably often am. Your face isn't right. You look a bit different.
Oh, yes.
I changed my face back to the Hicks face they know so well, and then I link telepathically with Moriel as well, and I move into the center position of the group as Steve's checking bodies, because I feel safer there next to the captain.
So who is checking bodies? Just Steve?
My arrows.
I will too.
My
Captain
arrows
still
over here somewhere, so
looking straight at Moriel.
For those that are investigating, roll investigation.
Moriel, I am all out of potions that might save anyone in the future. If we get a chance to pick some up or get some of these, it may be wise that we allow everyone to have one each so we can help each other when the time needs.
So as you are going through the bodies, you find a lot of mundane items. There's several daggers amongst, probably 5 or 6 daggers amongst the cultists. The 2 casters, the one in the hallway and the one in this room, both carry a few bottles of liquid. 2 or 3 you'd recognise, so you can add to the group 4 potions of regular, just a standard healing, the 2d4 plus 2s. 1 greater healing potion. This is the 44 plus 4. There's also a potion that looks odd. Probably Bernasis. As Steve sort of walks in with it, you may or may not recognise it. You'd be about the only one that would have any inkling about potions, I would imagine, being an artificer. So you can roll a what can we say, nature or history check to see if you recognise this particular coloured liquid.
I found some healing potions, and this one here. Does anyone know what potions are? Does anyone know what potions look like?
Nature check 14. Bernasis, you do. You have seen one of those before. Looks not unlike a potion of speed.
That one makes you faster, Steve. Which,
Wait.
Yeah.
And it is listed in
As a-
D&D Beyond as well, just so you guys know.
As a person of incredible speed and agility, I probably don't need it. So, anyone else?
Collectively, you find 180 gold pieces across all the bodies. You also find on the armored one, there is a very, very nice longsword. Very well made. And he also carries a scroll on him. Not unlike a spell scroll. Who was searching? Benessus. Yeah, Benessus, you'd probably have some understanding of spells. You cast them yourself. It is a spell of Fireball. 3rd level Fireball.
Well, while everyone's sort of sitting there, I'll just sort of go loot all the corpses and slowly like move them back, drop all the gear at the group, then go to the next body.
Okay.
Back
So
to board.
the rest of the weapons and armor is fairly mundane. The thugs only had sort of basic leather armor on. Again, daggers, short swords, nothing of note apart from this one longsword which was on the armored individual. One of the casters, the one that was killed last by the Dissonant Whispers, he was carrying, not so much carrying, it was on his back, was a staff, which looks interesting as well.
She grab everything of interest and then we'll take it to the room and we can sort it out there. Yeah?
All right. I'll carry all your
Agreed.
stuff.
Cool. Anything Benassus has, he'll hand it to Steve.
Okay, so just someone make a note. You have a staff of interest and a long sword of interest.
Yep, I've got notes.
Cool.
The conversation that you were just having next to the Captain Hex about everyone having a potion, while still kind of gawking at Moriel and his wings and his eyes, the Captain's just going to hand a satchel to Hex and kind of just, without looking at Hex, but still keeping eye contact at Moriel.
What's in this satchel, Captain?
Sorry, it's potions. I agree with what you said.
Well done. Who needs one or two?
I mean, I do. Mr. Moriel.
So while you're dealing out the potions, Steve, as you're the one sort of moving backwards and forwards, just to give you a bit of reference on this room down here, down the stairs, as you sort of backwards and forwards, you can see that's lit. Looks like maybe there's a large sort of conference table thing there as well. There's papers and that strewn about the table. You can sort of, as you sort of walk back and forwards, you notice a bookshelf or two are sort of around the edge of the rooms, and a set of closed doors right down to here, which look like they might be down over a bit of a balcony. Just see the tops of them. And obviously you've noticed a double set of closed doors here also. You would all be intelligent enough to know that if there was anyone probably in this room up here, they would have come running with all the noise of battle that has just gone on. So you can probably say with some amount of certainty that whatever's behind those doors is either A, deaf, or the room is soundproofed, or that there's nothing there. But it's up to you what you wish to do and where you wish to go at this point.
Hey guys, down these stairs it looks like a meeting room or something. I think if anyone was down there, they would have come up to find us. So it's probably easy looting.
I don't think we should take that chance at the moment, Steve.
I tend to agree. If we are caught unaware, we're not going to be ready. We're at least one of those other rooms we come from. I know it's backtracking, We're not in a position to investigate other rooms in this current state.
Agreed.
You're the boss.
So,
That's right.
And Moriel then turns to Captain. He goes, I finally got a name for you that you can call me. Reaper.
All right. So you're not an angel.
Of course he's an angel. Did you not know what a Reaper is, Captain Moriel?
Or is
Sorry, Captain Moore.
that the opposite of an angel?
The Reaper is just another type of angel.
Wait,
Let's
so
get
I'm
to safety first,
Yeah.
please.
Walk and talk.
All right. Is Bernassus, is he one of? Because you
No.
know. Oh, okay.
Vanessa's is not.
No, Captain. Maybe you should stop thinking it's not doing you a service.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Okay.
so the decision is to head back to the storeroom. Is that where you're aiming to rest up?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Okay, so
I agree.
for the sake of everything, I think what we'll do is I will move you there. Saves you doing it all
Cautiously peeking around every corner, aren't we, team?
square by square. So make it across there. This is going to reveal some of the outside of the map, but get the foggable later. So you move yourselves back into the storeroom. Shut the doors behind you. Not striking any more issues. You backtrack, and for now seem to be in relative safety.
Steve will go across to this chest and lay out all the items that he found onto the chest,
Worries.
apart from the gold, which you leave in his pocket. So yeah, five daggers, the greater potion, the 4 healing potions, this potion of speed, the long sword, and the scroll and staff of interest.
Moriel will focus on both the longsword and the staff, obviously because of the great interest, and will spend 10 minutes casting Detect Magic.
Right, so as your detect magic does fire off, anything magical that anyone else is wearing would definitely show up. I don't know if anyone is wearing anything overly magical. The potions would give off a faint signature as well, but the longsword and the staff both give off a strong arcane signature, as does Hex's cloak that she found.
Which Moriel
Moriel
noticed that last time. Yeah.
And
Longsword's magical. Same with the staff.
Steve would go sit with his back against the door.
No worries.
Thank you, Steve.
Amongst that pile of things, Steve and Benassus, that you found, didn't happen to be a scroll of identification of some description, did there?
Only
There was
what?
a scroll. Did we look at the scroll, Steve?
I'm not a magic user, I don't know what it does.
Take a look, Hex.
Hicks will unfurl the scroll. I believe the scroll you said was fireball, wasn't it, DM?
The scroll, 3rd level fireball.
Oh, Benassus or Moriel, Lord Moriel, this could help either of you. if you have any arcane knowledge, which I know you both do.
Either you or Banassus can take it.
Okay, Yeah. And I'll grab the scroll, and I'll put the 2 healing potions that I found in the other room here.
Yep.
I kept them because I'm quite fast and can fly and dish out health potions, but these are the 2 I have left from the ones I found in the room.
Captain Moore gave me a few. Who else needs some? We should all carry some. Or one at least.
I could always have another one. But what hurt back then, but...
How many have we got all in all?
I have 2 on me currently.
I believe you found 4 regular, 1 greater on the bodies.
Yes, that's correct.
Share the potions between you all, I'm fine. And after finishing his cast, Moriel literally falls to the floor, exhausted.
Worries.
So, just to clarify, there's 4 small ones, so you're each going to take a small one?
Yep.
Sweet, and 2 larger ones. I think, Banassus, you should take a larger one. And
Okay.
whoever... I'd like to know that, because Banassus can distribute them, I can distribute them, the others are going to be sort of up the front, and Moriel does healing, so I think that's a good way to go. And back in character.
Yes, that's wonderful.
So looking at, again, as you sort of divvy things up and looking at the staff, I would say Moriel and Hexakara, I'll get you both to roll an intelligence check for me.
Can I use Arcana, because that would be a better score?
Sure. Either, for both of your Hex as well, if you want to roll Arcana over Intelligence. Kind of both, it fits. Natural 1.
That's better.
Moriel is
Yeah,
really
Moriel's
exhausted.
just too tired. He's too tired.
He's just way too tired. But Hex, as you sort of look at the staff and as you do with things, sort of inspect it from top to bottom, intricate carvings along its shaft and the red gem that resides in the top of it. And as you look at the red gem, you just see a spark of flame inside it every now and again. Just flickers and then vanishes. Maybe every 30 seconds or so, it just sparks with a magical flame within the gem, which may give you some understanding of what it may be capable of.
Fuzzy would roll across the floor, up onto the box, rolling up and down the staff, and Hicks would stand sort of just a few feet from it, looking back and forth as Fuzzy rolls back and forth. And she would look back to Moriel and see him pretty much passed out. She would go to Banassus, and I guess she'd talk to the rest of the group in general as we're all grouped. She'd say,
I believe the staff to have some sort of fire ability. I know nothing more than that. It would probably benefit Lord Moriel with his commanding presence. Magical swords would be for one of you 2, and she points at
the dragon and Captain Moore.
maybe you should both give it a whirl and see what it feels like.
She walks away. Fuzzy would jump into Banassus' arms if he catches it.
Yeah, Banassus will catch Fuzzy. Sort of inspecting it, see how it works.
It's just a cat's head inside a ball.
Yeah, you would not find anything to inspect. Except it keeps pushing into you hard, like it's like a cat nuzzles in, but it's just a cold glass ball.
It's an odd sensation. But... So, does either Captain Moore or Alba inspect the sword closer?
Yeah, the captain would get up, and as he does, ugh, Well, alright, Elba. As you can see, I can't hit the side of a barn door with this, but I mean, if you want to have a go, be my guest. It's up to you.
Captain Moore, as you lift your sword and inspect it, you notice it's got a large crack in the blade, which could possibly lean to a reason why having issues with it.
Captain's gonna see, completely fine, nothing wrong. Besides this crack that wasn't there before. But nonetheless, have a go.
Elba will go, maybe you should keep it. That crack doesn't look the best.
Alright, well, okay, I will. I'll give it a go.
So you
Okay,
walk
yeah.
over and pick it up?
Yep.
In comparison to the one you're already wielding, it's lighter. Definitely, it feels better. It's been very, very well made. I mean, your one's been well made too. It's one you've had for a long time, but it's seen a number of battles. Mundane sword, nothing too spectacular. This one just feels lighter. You swing it round, thrust with it, parry. It just seems better, way better balanced. And as you check the blade, it's in pristine condition. No nicks, no scratching, nothing. Considering the dude was just attacking you with it, seems odd that it would not be damaged.
Does it have a color, perchance?
It's just a regular longsword. Like the pommel and handle is wrapped in a dark purple wrapping around the handle, like a dark purple coloured leather. So, just to put you out of your misery, it's a +1 longsword. Doesn't need to be attuned, but it's just a slightly better instrument of death that you're currently carrying.
Yeah, well, she's a beaut. Definitely better than mine. Again, it's we're a team, so I mean, I would appreciate it, but if you, for one, I know we can trade. I could try and use your maul or something, and you can use this if you want. It's up to you.
I'm happy with my maul, thanks. You keep the sword. I like knocking heads off.
All right.
As you can see, the bits of flesh still attached to his maul from the previous battle.
You're getting more vicious by the minute. I like it.
Alva, I've got something for you. And he's going to give him 3 of the 5 arrows that he got. And 5 gold. And so, this is, I meant to give you this sooner. This is from our bet the other day. That I forgot all about, and at the time, I was too busy getting my clothes off. So, that's yours anyway.
Oh, what was this bet? I'd like to put a wager on.
The bet was that you were going to kill everyone overnight, and we're going to walk into a room full of dead people.
Oh, how lovely! The thought crossed my mind.
Steve.
The 2 larger individuals plonk themselves in front of the door as a makeshift barrier of sorts. Is there anything else you wish to achieve? Who is going to hang on to the staff, or are you going to leave it where it is for now?
Hex would lay it down beside Moriel. Just put his arm over it. That way, knowing what she knows about the arcane, it would be good for him by morning, or the 8 hours we sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, your other sword it'd be at a -1, just so you know, until it gets fixed. Make a note of that your regular sword is cracked, and on a -1 to hit, -1 damage. Just for future reference. And as you do so, X, you lay the staff down next to where Moriel has collapsed and passed out, sleep, tired from the previous encounter. The multiple unconscious states has you all pretty well knackered. It was a hard battle. It was probably the hardest battle any of you have been involved in for a long time, leaving you all fairly well stuffed for the evening. Sleep comes to you all relatively quickly with the level of exhaustion that you would have, and with that you'll gain a long rest. Nothing of consequence happens throughout the night. Again, the footsteps can be heard, the murmurings. Seems that no one really visits this part of the ruin much. But you'll come to consciousness at what you would assume would be the daytime. You're not entirely sure what the time of day is. You just know that you were tired. Battle was long, hard, and it took it out of you. But you sleep, and you awaken. Again, the darkness of this place, no idea what time it is. Moriel, you awaken as you sort of come to consciousness, feel this staff in your hand. And it feels comfortable. You have no idea what it does, but it feels like it belongs. And for your reference, we'll probably run it slightly differently because you have no idea what it is, but it is the Staff of Fire. So you can add that to your inventory because you have attuned to it. But when it comes time, if you decide to use it, we will run it slightly differently. As I say, you have no idea what it is or what it does at this point. So depending on situational stuff, we will determine what happens at the point you decide to try and use it, if you do indeed. That should be in D&D Beyond as well. Staff of Fire.
Yep, found that. Yep.
So you are conscious once again. It is up to you what you want to do next. Whether you want to just head back to that same room via the same path, as you believe it to be relatively safe. If that's the case, I will move you back there, unless you want to go in a different direction. You let me know which direction you wish to travel. The path that you already know, or maybe try a different.
Sorry, before we move on, so with Hex putting the stuff in my hand, does that mean I'm attuned to it from the rest?
Yes.
Or is that still...
From the moment you wake up. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So from the moment you wake, you are attuned to it. You would know that you are attuned to it, you just have no idea what it does.
Okay. Thank you. How are we all?
When we leave, if those 5 daggers are still there, Steve would take them.
Well, you would have left them there. I mean, you would assume they'd still be there. Yeah. You won't know till you get there. But...
I put them on the box. I got them with me.
Okay. So if you want to take them, take them. Put them in your inventory. Just regular mundane daggers.
My apologies for just passing out. Are we okay? Are we all feeling good? Is all our equipment okay? We got enough consumables to carry on?
I'm good. I think everyone looks...
I feel a lot better.
I also feel good. I will say, we must look for food around here. How many of you have food stores left? I used the last of mine last night.
The captain is going to pull out in his backpack 3 lots of rations, and that's it.
My rations say rations 1 day. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, there'll be an amount next to it.
10,
I
think.
Should be
20 LB.
Yeah, there should be. That's how much they weigh. You're generally supposed to have 10, but you guys have been down here for at least 2 days, so you'll have to at least -2 from that. So should have 6 to 8 days left, most of you,
If you brought rations.
if you bought rations.
Captain's
I've
gonna
got,
take.
Sorry, go.
I've got a couple left. Couple rations left.
I've got a couple as well.
Does Hex have any? Did you pull out any rations at all? Or?
Hicks is now out of rations as of last night.
Okay. The captain, because he's got one, he's going to take one ration for himself, and he's got 2, so he's going to give 1 to Moriel and 1 to Hex.
Moriel will wave his hand to let you know he's got enough.
Okay. All right. And then he'll just give 1 to Hex.
Much appreciated, Captain Moore.
I'll do the same, get one out for myself and give one next.
Oh, very, very good, Alba. I shall hold on to these for the next few days, but the point I was making is as we move through, let's keep an eye out on more consumables, as Moriel says.
There's some rotten apples in that kitchen back there.
Yeah, I might grab some more of them, not for eating.
Acid damage. Sweet.
Lord Moriel, is the plan to move back to the position we were in?
I say we carry on from where we were. Let's finish this.
You must be aware they are stronger than I anticipated.
There's always going to be someone better than you. Stronger. Which is why we needed to work as a team.
That we are.
And they're dead. And we're not. Which means we're working together. We're on the same page for the cause. And I, for one, thank you all for doing what was necessary. And I also thank you for this, and he holds out the staff. This will serve me well.
Well, okay, well let's go then. Ready?
Ready. Vanessa's, have you seen Fuzzy?
Oh, yeah. Here somewhere, and like looking under his wings.
Where Vanessa's lay, Hicks will sort of lean down and go,
Oh dear.
and she'll sort of sleight of hand some. She's got a game of dice, 6-sided dice in her bag. She'll sleight of hand some dice to where he's sleeping and pretend to pick it up and go,
Fuzzy's left his droppings again.
Roll slide hand.
"Oh, let this be good." Dolt 7.
Most people passive would have seen
Yeah.
seen what you're up to. It would have been quite obvious. Whether they say anything's up to them.
The captain is going to give a little smile and a chuckle, and then catch himself realizing he's laughing at Hex, and then turn away so that he doesn't see.
So again, for ease of movement, I will move you all back to the same room. You should be. I'm pretty sure you got no reason to worry about patrols. I'll put you back in here. I'll reset fog of war just because.
So as we're walking, Moriel will just quickly mention to Captain, yes, I am Azamar, but I'm fallen.
Well, I am glad that you have fallen into my town. Thank you. Hopefully, you don't fall anymore.
In the kitchen, Steve will grab a handful of the best looking apples that he can find in that bag.
Roll d6 for me.
Whilst he's going to give it a moment, and then whilst it's still walking, he's then going to turn. Forgive me if I'm prying, but
You get
is there a
2
reason?
decent apples.
Vanessa's wants bad apples.
Yeah, you can grab a handful, so say half a dozen. Plenty of bad apples there.
He's going to eat one of them for breakfast.
So as you're standing back in this room, 3 pillars to a 25-foot high sort of semi-arch ceiling. Stairway leading down into a relatively lit chamber to your south. You can see the candles that are probably long actually burnt out from the night before on the table, but the magical torch is still lit. The double doors towards the south and the double doors towards your north as well.
Let's cover north first before we go south, because I feel the further deeper we go south, we're going to find what we're looking for.
That's reasonable.
Alrighty.
I'll go check the door, and I'll move up to the north and check to see if the door is locked.
Doesn't appear to be locked. Again, heavy wooden doors. All the doors are the same. Heavy wooden iron straps.
Are we ready?
Would you like me to use a skill I have just to open the door for safety's sake?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Stand back in case something explodes.
And Hicks uses her invisible mage hand to open the door this time. Assuming it's not locked.
It's not locked.
Captain Moore, I cannot see from here, but my skills have opened the door.
All right, okay.
Tricked you. Just kidding.
So, who keeps closing the fucking doors?
Stand on the door too close, I imagine.
I'll go behind the captain, because, yeah, bigger.
So if you want to
Make
open
sure
both
it's okay.
doors just to make it easier.
God, what have I done?
So, what you see as you move into this room, the large bed sits dishevelled against the far wall. Bookcases rest against the others, and a small desk sits at the end of the bed. It appears to be a bedroom of sorts. Several papers and stuff strewn about the desks, several books, all manner of titles can be seen.
I want to investigate the desk.
So you can see, looking on the desk, you don't need to investigate, but there's several scattered papers with just, looks like random notes, but there's a journal of sorts, looks like a leather-bound journal. With, what languages does Steve speak?
Common, Goblin, Loxton, and Thieves' Cant.
So it seems to be in a language you're not familiar with, but it's a nice leather-bound book. It's got ties on it.
Does anyone speak German? This book isn't in a language I don't understand. But it looks like a notebook. He's just going to sort of hold it up.
Mario will go over and have a look.
So, what languages does Moriel speak?
Other than common, abyssal, celestial, and infernal.
It is an abyssal. So it just simply, it's a journal. You can see that it is from an individual by the name of Alabast Storiel. Do you wish to inspect it any further than that? It's got his name embossed on the top, and underneath it's just a basic journal. It's like obviously a personal journal by the looks of it.
Yeah, I'll have a look at some of the pages to see if anything kind of stands out. If it's written in abyssal, then obviously there's like Moriel's interest is automatically piqued because of the nature of the language.
Okay, so Steve, you'd be there. Moriel, put yourself in a position where you would be next to Steve if you had investigate the book. Everyone else put yourselves in a position where you'd think you'd be in this room in relation to this at this point. What you'd be looking at, whether you'd be looking at the bed, the shelves, standing in the centre of the room, by the doors.
That's just looking for a good book.
The door. Yeah.
So that's roughly your positions.
Yes. Just keeping an eye on the rear position through the back doors.
Okay, so with that, Moriel, as you pick up the book to open it, go to turn to the first page. An energy bursts out from the book. I need everyone in 1 second. So that would be Steve and Moriel. I need you to both make a dexterity saving throw, please. As this pulse spreads out through your bodies. And Bernassus, you'd probably feel that the energy sort of hit you. It doesn't cause any damage to you, but it definitely is noticeable. 11.
Not
So
20.
Success and a failure. So the success, you'll take half of this force damage as the glyph of warding whatever it was that was protecting this book detonates and strikes you in your chest. So you will take 6, Moriel, of force damage, and Steve, you will take 12 points of force damage as this energy detonates out. Kaboom! And echoes.
Hex pulls up a firebolt ready to go. Is expecting enemy.
And as soon as it detonates, it dissipates. The sound sort of echoes in the small room. The dust falls from the ceiling, and yeah, Moriel, you were sort of right there. Even though you managed to move in a way that reduced your damage, it hurt. It was right through your internal organs, rocking your very being.
Moriel, Steve, you all right?
What was that? Bernassus is flattening his feathers down.
Moriel will just do the beatific mist on both himself and
No worries.
Steve.
No problem.
8 for myself and 5 for Steve.
No worries.
Thank you.
So, as you recover from that small little bit of damage, you think to yourself, got to check that shit before I pick him up again. You go back to reading. And as you sort of browse through the journal, you can see journal entries and dates dating back several weeks, months even, maybe 3 or 4 months. Entries about experiments on the dead, changing their form, changing their abilities with necromantic energy, and that this place is almost a conduit for necromancy. Something about this place that lends to the aid of necromantic magics. As you peruse through further, you can see entries about the raids on Dusk Hollow. town nearby is a good source of fresh corpses, even if we have to get them ourselves. All that kind of information that would definitely cause some concern.
Is there any markings that would indicate potentially which god is involved with this?
Not specifically. It just all it talks about is it's just necromantic magic. It's some of the text could be alluded to, obviously, some of the darker gods of the pantheon, but there's no mention of any one specific deity.
Okay. Well, Captain, here's this little journal. Has all the information about what they're trying to do here, the reasons why they're attacking Dusk Hollow for fresh bodies, so that they can do these vile experimentations in raising these abominations.
Okay, does it tell you how we stop it?
I'd probably have to spend more time reading the book to find out information. Whether you want me to do that now, that's everybody's call. I'll prefer to keep moving so we're not wasting time. But everybody, if anyone feels that I should read further, then so I shall.
It's probably wise to read before our next rest, maybe not now, like you say. Time is of the essence, I imagine.
Yeah, information is power, they say, but I think we should move on, and maybe when we've got a bit of downtime to read a bit more, maybe.
Very well. Moriel will put the journal in his backpack.
No worries, make a note. Journal of Alabast.
Steve will walk over to the bed and he'll fluff the pillows to see how soft they are.
Pretty soft. This dude's obviously kept himself in relative comfort.
He's going to take one of the pillows and stick it into his bag, and then he's going to take off his shirt and use the other one to wipe the sweat off his body.
You.
And then put it back on the bed.
You're a random motherfucker, Drax. That's all I can say.
And put his shirt back on. It's like effectively cleaning himself with the cultist pillow.
You're one strange individual, dude. But
All
easily
clean
enough
over there,
done.
mate?
Benasis is looking for a book that would interest him in the shelving.
Okay, so there's a few interesting books here. So the first book you find that stands out in common, Illuminarium Battalia, a manual of fighting with magic and steel. Seems that's the title that you find. Relatively, as you sort of, do you have a look at it or just perusing at the spines?
Benasis will be very reluctant to touch it.
Okay.
He'll turn to the others. I'm like, just in case something bad happens, I'm going to... And he grabs the book.
You pull it from the shelf and nothing untoward happens.
Whew.
And on the cover is essentially that is a picture of a wand and a sword crossed. Title, Illuminarium Battalia. And you sort of flip through the pages and it's just basic text on the fighting of both magic and mundane weapons together. A different skill, almost like a battle guide in some respect on the marriage between melee and magic, more or less. Could be an interesting read. You do spy another common title. Some of these titles you can't read. in all manner of languages. You do spy another common title though, The Tale of Crimshaw the Sweet. This book sort of says down the bottom in fine print on the spine, legendary tale of the infamous tiefling baker. Another one you spy, a beholder in the eye of the beauty. Several mundane titles, nothing over the top. There's another one that says, don't worry about the bugs on the spine in common. And the last one you spy is the Elium. Odd title. Probably draws your eye considering it's in common, but it's not a word you know.
So Benassus will take the first and the last book.
Do you look at the last book? Do you open any of the pages to have a quick nosy at to see what it might be about?
I will just stick it in my bag for now.
Okay.
I don't want to hold anyone up.
I can give you a brief, like the first page, like the preface, if you just want a quick look at the preface. So this book is a modern copy of very ancient commentary on an epic poem named the Elium, which was already very ancient when on the Elium was written. No copy of the original of the Elium has been located, therefore the Elium has fascinated historians. The whole preface is just weird, to say the least. Definitely up Vanessa's alley.
Yep, very exciting.
That's about all the interesting titles you find on the bookshelf. And this is probably a good place to pause our adventure for the night, unless anyone has anything specific they wish to discuss quickly just in this last couple of minutes before we end up tonight, about this room.
Is there any books about necromancy in there on the shelf?
Not that you would notice. Moriel would probably be about the only one that would pick up maybe a few titles here and there in Infernal and maybe in Abyssal. These are, I said, the common titles. These seem to be more like reading books and interest books rather than spell books.
Steve will pull out a couple of books and just rip out a random page here or there, take the pages and then put the books back on the shelf.
Okay. Noted. Anything else from anybody else?
It's just the captain with that echo would have tried to sneak a peek or listen to see if there's footsteps coming towards us.
On the doors he's standing by?
Yeah.
Which sneak a peek or listen?
Probably listen at first, yeah.
Roll perception. Yeah, the noises you're hearing, you've been hearing a lot throughout this whole place. It just echoes through. You don't hear anything from the next room. You haven't heard anything move or anything. So those noises you've been hearing throughout this place, throughout the halls, this seems to be prevalent. Just the weird noises coming from just this whole place. Echoes through everything.
Hicks would be moved over to Moriel after he packaged the book and just say to him, not so the group can't hear, but just general quietness, just say,
I learned something from the last battle. I do not have to show my hand when it comes to casting spells. If those creatures can stop our spells, that is bad. I have an ability to cast them for a time without somatic nor vocal componentry. It just means I have to be holding on to my fuzzy. I feel like I shall use that in the future. Agreed?
Moriel would just give you the nod of acknowledgement to say, yes, agreed.
and then just
Very well.
And that is where we'll end tonight's session, ladies and gentlemen. We'll end it right there as you guys discuss and discover some items of interest. We will shoot back to our title page. And we'll do our usual run around our crew, get some moments from tonight. Chat also, if you got some moments, we'll do it in the chat. Spit them out, whether it's combat, whether it's roleplay, whatever, doesn't matter what it is, put it in the chat, we'll read it out. We'll start tonight with Captain Moore, Mr. Roasted Chicken.
Steve was, especially towards the end with the pillow. I mean, that was disgusting.
It's just fucking odd, man.
But I kind of like that he did it though, just as a bit of a fuck you moment to everyone else in this, like all the people that were fighting. But I also did like Moriel's necrotic shroud and the wings and just the explanation of shifting and all that kind of stuff. That was really cool for me. I did thoroughly enjoy that for sure.
Awesome. Steve, the unusual elephant.
Just Magic's description of the whole Reaper form thing. I just loved that.
Yeah, that was very cool.
It's brilliant.
Definitely had the floating, shrouded, dark-winged Reaper in mind when you described it, 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything else? Was that you?
I only had a couple more, but one of them was psychological damage from Hex.
It was kind of the same. It kind of worked. JJ, Mr. Elba.
Just experiencing the whole battle in general for me.
Yeah.
Never had to deal with a battle in D&D yet that crazy and dying and all that kind of stuff. It was just intense. A really cool experience as a new D&D player.
Awesome. I'm glad you're enjoying it, dude. I really am. Would hate to think we're scaring you off with a battle that almost killed you.
No, I actually love it.
Awesome. Mr. Magic.
Yeah, just to go on what JJ said, big props to DM for that battle. That was crazy, to say none the least. But I think what in part of the battle you can see the ebbs and flows of a battle, and I think, you know, we've seen how Moriel and Hex have been able to dish out vast amounts of damage, but we've also seen tonight the other side of that coin. And I'm sorry, Chicken, but I have to pick out, unfortunately, the frustration of the captain and not able to, you know, do what he can do as a fighter. Just the rolls.
Yeah,
those
Yanti
rolls.
put it in the chat.
I was feeling for him every time. It's just going, oh, not, dude, come on. So, but I will also have to say, it caps also his general reaction after Moriel's reveal.
Yeah,
I think that was, he was just trying to process, because I kind of see the look in his face going, I thought he was normal.
That's exactly what was going on.
Pretty much it. But yeah, Yanti put in the chat, the captain's horrible dice tonight was definitely one that stood out. Mr. Burnassus, little magpie.
So the whole battle, that spellcasting cultist with the fireball, I mean, that messed us all up, but that was cool. And then when he died, and your description of like the blood, and then his eyes just went, and I think because I was so angry with him, I was like, yes, and it was just so good. Like, you played up that death, and it felt great.
Awesome, I love it. And lastly, but never leastly, Exakara.
Yeah, I agree with Grim on that one. I was happy to see that guy go. And then I remembered afterwards, last week we were talking about keeping someone alive to question them, which we never did. So
pretty much.
Good to know. So me for tonight, I've got a couple of things. Pretty much what everyone said. Steve's pillow sweat thing was funny. The amount of unconsciousness, but still managing to pull through with the slightest of slights. But for me, Bernassus gauntlets of lightning, are they? They're so cool.
Artificer.
Those artificer gauntlets, man. Being able to like lightning one way, lightning the other, that actually saved our asses. I feel like on a couple of occasions, just being able to put one creature down and then draw the fire of another. and that was right up there for me. Reaper Moriel obviously was up there as well. That's good. But I think the big thing for me is, and this is kudos to the whole group, whenever there's rules talk, someone will say, what's this? The DM will say, oh, no, it's this. And everyone just goes, yep, cool, man, and goes with it. And I've been in a lot of D&D groups where there's been arguments. I've watched a lot on, online, you guys probably have too, where people just argue, and it really ruins the game. It's just good that our groups, so far all of our games for the most part, everyone just says, yep, sweet as man, and just carries on, and there's no hang-ups, which is really cool. So just kudos to everyone for the DM makes a rule, even if you think it's wrong or if it is wrong or whatever, everyone just agrees and goes forward, and it doesn't hold anything up. So yeah, just big cheers to everyone for that sort of stuff, really.
Definitely. And for me to reiterate on that as well, it makes it really easy for a DM if you make a call based on either your own rule or the way you interpret a rule, because we did have a discussion during the break about that rule discussion and where it sort of fits, and that's where that stuff is supposed to be discussed. It's during a break or after the game. Hey man, I think you might have ruled that wrong, or I don't agree with how you ruled on that. That's stuff you discuss later on, not during the gameplay. So we can keep the gameplay moving, and we make a ruling right or wrong. We roll with it then and there, and then next time, if the DM's wrong, and we are wrong a lot of the time, we're not infallible, just like anything. If we make a wrong calling and we deem it to be wrong, we can admit it. We go, okay, sweet, we made that decision wrong. Next time we'll fix that. We come back in the next session and say, hey, look, this didn't happen the way it should have. We're going to change it for next time. No dramas. So, and it's good to have other DMs in the group, which, I mean, you guys obviously heard tonight. I will ask Baz a lot. He's been DMing a whole lot longer than me, and also DMs in the chat as well. And people can look up rules too. Like I had Yanti posted the rule about the use of drawing a potion from a bag and moving and everything else. Those things are invaluable on the spot. We sort of address it as we can. So exactly, chicken. Rule of the cool should be the only the only staple rule. So if it fits the situation, you rule it that way, as long as it works and it doesn't upset anybody. Those are discussions we have later. But as far as the game tonight, standout moments for me, Moriel, the description of the Reaper and the description of the wings and the Dark Shroud and everything else, definitely a standout moment. Poor Captain Moore and his shitty dice rolls. I don't think you hit many actual... I mean, you hit a few decent attacks, but there was a lot less hit attacks than there were missed. We had Hex go down unconscious at least twice, maybe 3 times. Moriel was at least twice. Elba was at least twice. Captain Moore, I think you were once. Steve, did you go down as well?
I got down to 2, and if I hadn't used Uncanny Dodge, I would have gone down.
Yeah, so you were extremely close. Bernassus was the only one that wasn't touched. I don't think you got a single damage until towards the end of that battle, I believe.
Yeah, well, the fireball was rough. And then, I think I had 16 at the lowest.
Jeez. So it was a very intense battle. You guys handled it well. I think everyone did exceptionally well and handled the whole thing. JJ, again, big ups to you. First time playing D&D, getting into the thick of things and handling, getting used to obviously rolling death rolls and dealing with that sort of stuff can be a little confusing at times. I think you handled it very, very well, and still putting yourself right in there in gameplay and in role play and just having fun. I'm really pleased that you're enjoying it, and good to see you hanging out with us and doing this. We definitely hope at some point we can get you involved in another one online, because I think you're doing very, very well.
I'll have to say goodbye, team. I got early work tomorrow.
No worries, Baz.
Thanks,
buddy.
Thank you.
But yeah, so that's pretty much us chat. Unless you got anything else, we will raid as we usually do. Who is online tonight? While I'm figuring out someone to raid, if we got mods in the chat, can we get a few shout outs here? Firstly, can we get a shout out for Mr. JJ Beats, DUW eFed over on his channel, where most of us are involved in the wrestling eFed. We all have our own wrestlers over there. We're having a lot of fun. We just had a big pay-per-view on Saturday. Some titles changed hands. Some losing streaks were broken, which was really freaking awesome. Not naming any names, Jackson. But there was some really good matches there. A lot of fun hanging out with JJ over there, doing that sort of stuff. We also have Mr. Roasted Chicken. Hasn't streamed in a while, but does stream on occasion. But go check him out anyway. Does a few horror streams, which is funny as hell to watch. Definitely go check that out when you can, whenever he's live. And of course, Miss Yanti 1, where we do Dusk Hollow on Friday. She does gaming stuff during the week as well, and some horror stuff. Definitely check her out. And Mr. Magic the Gamer, RPGs and such over on his channel, and the occasional music stream with the Guitar Hero, not Guitar Hero, the other one. I forget.
Clone Hero.
Clone Hero, that's the one. Definitely, I enjoy hanging out with the Clone Hero stuff. It's a lot of fun. So make sure you go check all those guys out and hit them with a follow. Support them when they're live. They're all supporters of my channel and have been long-time supporters of Evil's Lair, right from before I was back on Twitch even. So definitely help support those guys when you can. So, Weirdest Orb is streaming. They're doing D&D. Dreaded GM. Aeoncraft. Rat Brain. Aussie Devfro. That's with Weirdest Orb in them. So we might jump in and Aussie Devfro. All of them just started. Cool. We're going to raid Aussie Devfro, guys. Another Aussie D&D player. They've got a pretty cool group, and they're episode 34 of their Germonia series. They do every Sunday night. Well, it looks like every other Sunday. Definitely check them out. Show them support. They show us support when they can. And we will see you back here tomorrow for some New World. We're going to be streaming some more New World, some Marauder action. We may see a dungeon, possibly, depending on. I know we've got a few people that are ready to do armoring again. I'm willing to help out with that, tank that for you guys. Corruptions, farming, whatever, just general questing. We'll be hanging out with the crew and just having some fun. So come and hang out with us tomorrow night, about 8 o'clock, usual time. Until then, we will say goodbye. You finally made it 21? Nice chicken. Well, you got to actually play with us. You always get on when we're all leaving. You come in way too late, dude. But there is a Discord channel as well for the company. If you want to just hang out, it's in my Discord. There for everyone to use to have fun. Raid command is out. Hopefully that worked. Why did that not work? Hey. We'll do it this way then. Start raid. There we go. Maybe I did something wrong. But anywho, we'll say goodnight and we will see you tomorrow. And then Wednesday for more D&D.